ties him up, gonna haul him up by a chain.
There it is.
So, how's it going, everyone, and welcome to an episode of No Excuses with a Fern
Yay.
on YouTube.com. Yep.
Yeah,
With,
I'm half dead.
Yeah, he's been incommunicado all week long. Ball's adorable. On YouTube.com with your favorite show host, Aristill.
The corpse of Fenurian.
And Volasel, I'm here to bring you the latest news and commentary on the video games industry for the week that was. But, first of all, if you'd like to get involved with the show, you can do so by sending us email at noexcusesvtw@gmail.com, or you can follow us on the Twitter at noexcusesvtw, or you can join us in our Discord server, which is probably the best place to communicate with the show hosts and other listeners to the show, and just generally shitpost. And you can get there by clicking on the link that will be provided underneath the show description in the YouTube archive of this show.
Let's face it,
Do
it's
be
more
careful.
shitposting than anything else.
We may cost you $25,000 after the PayPal changes if you are affiliated with our politics board, so be wary.
Okay.
PayPal said they're going to charge their users $2,500 for misinformation if they find out.
Okay.
Exaggerating or paraphrasing. That's actually what they said.
Yeah, PayPal have famously decided to take it upon themselves to be the police of vice and virtue, even outside of the affairs that are in any way related to them.
Stick to money, PayPal.
Oh, we found an auspice. It's the kitty.
It's a fat, chunky kitty.
I mean, they are sticking to money. They're just sticking to taking your money for having the wrong kinds of thoughts.
Yeah, they're just going to steal from you.
I want this kitty.
You can buy him in the cash shop.
Yay. All right.
I got the highest, I think, pull, so all strong.
Yeah, you do that. So, on the stream today, in case you haven't figured it out, we're doing a bit of Heaven on High in Final Fantasy, which I actually just noticed when you're not on the Tamari mat, your feet don't actually touch the floor.
Yep.
The shadows are slightly wonky.
But that's Heaven on High.
That's Heaven on High. It's slightly jank.
So, Fern, you've had a week.
I've had 2 weeks, and a lot of it I can't actually talk about because it's work, and honestly nobody really gives a toss. But between incompetent railways and car accidents and general everything being on fire, I am somehow back.
Yeah, was trying to get in communication with you this week. Got like one response from you that was one line long to some nonsense I sent you. I'm sure I send a lot of nonsense to people.
Yes.
Oh, I heard a debuff.
Also, if you're hearing weird noises, it's because I'm also eating my lunch because I literally just got off work.
Lunch.
Chicken sandwich. Delicious.
We got a word on this floor.
Fresh.
We do.
Chicken sandwiches that are more than about 6 hours old are bad juju.
Well, yeah. Although, we've got, like, truck stop chicken sandwiches here, and they're actually pretty safe.
Is it because there are enough truckers going through that they have to keep them fresh?
Yeah, they've got an actual sandwich bar in there. Occasionally they do these Turkish rolls, which are incredible, actually. It's really good.
I love me some Turkish bread.
Turkish bread is awesome. And they always make the best sandwiches.
Yeah. In the U.S., we have stops that are meant just for truckers on the interstate, and the food there's always really good.
I've heard about those.
Well,
Yeah,
the thing is, when it comes to truckers basically don't have anything else on the road except to gossip.
Mm-hmm.
So if you develop a bad reputation with one trucker, you'll have a bad reputation with every trucker within about a day.
Oh yeah,
So you can't afford to have bad food ever.
Yeah, you've heard the gossip mill between old ladies and small country towns, but no, they've got nothing on truckers.
Yeah, old ladies can actually do other things sometimes. Truckers are just sit behind the wheel and they've only got the radio.
Yep, they got nothing better to do than shitpost over the CB network, which they actually do. So yeah, you get that in Australia as well. Like if someone's got shit food, they will drive straight through a town to avoid it.
Man, we've got a debuff on every single floor.
We have. The game hates us today.
There's a chest somewhere in there.
Ooh, it's a
So
gun.
I got it.
Anywho, as for nerdery stuff this week, weeks, I guess, haven't had too much time. I've dug into 2 games. The first I can talk about really quick is Inscryption, which is a roguelike card game with a rather very, very strange story thread running through it. So the game essentially starts where you're in a cabin with this weird old man, possibly, thing across the table for you, and he just demands you playing cards. And it's like playing Magic, except everyone can only use green.
Uh-huh.
So I thought I was wondering how far the game would go, and apparently it's broken up into 3 chapters, and it's interspaced with I suppose the found footage of a YouTuber who's doing some sort of creepypasta type dealy where he found the Inscryption video game in a chest that was buried in the woods. So there's that whole story. So chapter 1 is you're basically playing against this creepy old man and his various weird masks that he uses to impersonate different characters.
Are they obvious masks? Like mask shop guy masks?
Yes, they are. You can't actually see him for most of the time. It's not until you actually beat him that you get to see what he actually looks like. Second chapter...
Is he actually a pretty grill?
No. You think he's a weird old man or possibly a monster? He's a weird old man monster. Which is actually really annoying because after you die, he takes your photo and you get this kind of very brief view of him when the flash is settling, and he actually kind of looks like a skull, which is really strange. It's not a skull; that's just how his beard falls.
That is not a pretty grill.
No, it is not a pretty grill. There is no pretty grills in this game. There is one female character who looks like a stink bug during the first chapter and looks like the Queen of Hearts for the rest of the game. As in Disney.
But how can you live without pretty grills in video game?
By having an actually... Oh, there's the landmine. Having an actually fun card game attached to it. So, it's very simple. The way the card game works is each... And I'll get into it in advance later, but you start off with basically playing the Beast deck, green, basically, we'll call it. Which is all about sacrificing monsters in order to get bigger monsters. And that's all you've got for Chapter 1, is you use that deck. Chapter 2 opens up where you're playing the Creepypasta game. And you actually get access to the other 3 decks. Which, is, in addition to Beast, is Robots, Undead, and Magic. Robots basically works like Hearthstone. You've got an energy bar and that fills up each turn. You can accelerate it using different creatures. Undeath is as creatures of yours die or are sacrificed, you will build up a bones resource which you use to get your bigger monsters. Magic, I have no idea. It's all about building up, putting gems up on the field, and those augmenting and allowing you to summon different things, but yeah, I didn't really try to figure it out.
It sounds like the geode mechanic in Shadowverse, where certain cards would place a geode token on the board, and playing cards while there was a geode token or a certain number of them on the board would cause different effects.
Sure. In some cases, there's monsters that will just straight up die if they don't have the right coloured gem on the board.
Well, Vol's adorable and I'm stoned, so we're going to be a minute.
Yeah. Just
I didn't know that thing was still alive, and I turned around and it got stoned immediately.
So yeah, that's Chapter 2, and it basically plays like a Game Boy game. And then Chapter 3 is you're back in the dungeon with another deck master, which I have not finished Chapter 3 yet, but you're using a different restricted deck. So it's actually kind of a neat game. I really like the aesthetic and how between actual card games during the the dungeony, you're stuck in a dungeon bits, you can get up and walk around the room, and then that's ultimately what you need to do to figure out how to escape Chapter 1 and potentially Chapter 3. So yeah, you walk around the room, you solve puzzles and all sorts of things like that. So it's a fun game, and it's fairly cheap. It's not super long. I've sunk... How much time have I sunk into it? I'll need to look it up, actually. Inscription... Where is it? I mean, I'm about 8 hours into it, and I think I'm about halfway through Chapter 3.
Well, do you just have an addiction to being adorable in this dungeon?
You've been an otter more than you haven't been.
Also, I haven't heard him at all, so I don't know if his microphone's wigging out.
I'm here. I just don't have much to say about Inscription because I don't have any idea what the game is like.
Yeah. So yeah, it's a narrative-driven card game, of all things.
Uh-huh.
Another debuff. Another
We had a
person.
buff last floor, at least.
Yeah, that's something.
There's a horde on this floor somewhere.
Yep. So yeah, it's a fun game. Yeah, like I said, you're probably looking at roughly maybe a 10-hour experience from it. But if after some spookiness going on, and honestly, it's kind of a creepypasta level story going through the whole thing. Go for it, I reckon. It's definitely worth it if you can get it on sale. Like, I believe I got it for like $15. You two went the wrong way. Or I went the wrong way and shot a fish. The other game I've been sinking some time into, and I've been sinking probably a little bit more time into this one, is Grounded again. Because it's actually finished now. Grounded being it's a survival game where you're shrunk and you are trying to not get eaten by by regular sized spiders in a backyard. So yeah, they had their 1.0 version release last week, I want to say. So you can reach the end of the story now. You can go through, explore the various laboratories written around the place by the local resident mad scientist, and ultimately find your way to get big, become big.
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 Big like Sonabig?
Compared to what the size you normally are in the game, yes. So I've done maybe 2 labs in that out of... Well, okay, the game sets you up to initially go explore 4 labs around the place. It'll tell you go do the one that's hidden in the hedge first, and then you get your choice of the one in the pond, the one under the pesticide bottle, and the one in the trash pile full of black ants.
None of it sounds glamorous at all.
Yeah, all of these are in the lower half of the backyard. The part that was like mostly complete last time I played this game. Except it had construction tape around the picnic table and sandbox. Now you can actually go up to the top yard, so the story continues after you've done those labs. Which will probably mean fixing the shrink ray. They've added a bunch of places, and they're very ominous about a place called the Undershed. So there's that to look forward to.
Does it have Rick Moranis in it?
I'm half expecting it does, yes.
Didn't he, retire to go spend time with his family? And wasn't that his deal?
Yeah, I think he ran into a lot of mental health issues, if I recall, and basically retired.
Anybody who spends any time in the movie industry is going to end up with mental health issues.
Yeah. The question is do you go and do something about them like a normal human being, or do you revel in them and blast them over social media? I think Rick Moranis did the correct one.
Disappear from the limelight.
Yeah, he went off to sort himself out and spend time with his family, and you can always respect
need him back for Spaceballs 2.
We do! Please come back. We do miss you, Rick.
We need to get that movie made before Mel Brooks dies.
Honestly, some days I'm not entirely sure he hasn't died yet. It's like, is Mel Brooks still alive? And I have to go and look up whether or not he's actually still around or not.
He must be really freaking old at this point.
I think he's in his 90s, yeah. He made a few appearances a couple of years ago, and he's showing his age now, so... Very, very funny man. Maybe I should watch Men in Tights again. That movie is always just a good time. Basically any of Mel Brooks' movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did.
Like, I posted in the politics board this week the lyrics from the Inquisition song.
Oh, yes.
Man, I would love to get some of those movies, like to have copies of them, but I don't know where you can even buy something like that now.
Yeah, it's hard to find them. Some of his older stuff, you just probably have to go to Honest Bob's, honestly, and
Yeah, like, I don't see anybody in the modern world being willing to sell Blazing Saddles.
Blazing Saddle, weren't they doing a remake of that at one point? And completely
no
undermining
way.
everything it was all about?
You can't make Blazing Saddles in the modern day. You just can't.
You just
It's not
can't.
possible. Like if they sanitized it, there would be nothing left.
Yeah.
There's literally nobody who doesn't get lampooned.
Yes. And they do lampoon quite a number of sacred cows by today's standards. Actually, Men in Tights does the same thing too, because it actually deliberately points fun at Blazing Saddles, so there's that as well. But, people have forgotten, honestly, how to write comedy.
Well,
It's because the people have forgotten how to have a sense of humor.
Yeah, people have forgotten
Yeah.
in general how to laugh.
in 90% of jokes, somebody's got to be the butt of the joke, and people aren't allowed to offend anybody, so nobody can be the butt of the joke.
Well, it's not just that. It's the fact that the comedians don't try and make people laugh anymore. They try and make people clap. So
Yeah, there are a few around who do still make people laugh, but they're few and far between at this point. Like, I could watch Gabriel Iglesias all day because he basically gets up, tells weird stories about himself, makes fun of himself for being fat, and I'm cute now. And he uses a lot of stupid voices, and I respect the guy. Because he's funny. He doesn't get up on stage and have a good half-hour-long cry.
or just say the word Trump and expect everybody to laugh.
Yeah. Oh, hello, Titan. Bye, Titan. Why was Titan here?
Okay. We got an extra Magicite, so in
Ah.
case anything respawned, I just threw him on the ground to get the EXP.
So anyway, Grounded, I think it's actually balanced for 4 players, or at least multiplayer. I haven't tried any of the major bosses in it yet. But most of the game, provided you're willing to gear yourself correctly and learn attack patterns of enemies and stuff like that, it's perfectly accessible solo. At least in the lower yard. I have no idea what the top yard does, but it involves very, very angry mosquitoes, so there's that. But it does have a bit of a learning curve, because you got to learn what all the telegraphs of the enemies are, and when to block and when to attack and when to just run away screaming like a little girl because something giant and hairy landed on your face. So, yeah, I'm going to just keep chipping away at that game because I want to see where the story goes. It does, for the most part, keep very light. Like, the whole thing's set in the 90s, particularly the 1990. So everything is very 90s.
Set in the year that Honey, I Shrunk the Kids was made.
Yes, it is, oddly enough. So, yeah. It's a bit of a strange period where cartoons were explicitly about making money rather than just subtly about making money.
You mean
Well,
they were
the-
advertisements that were 25 minutes long?
Yeah, those ones.
we were transitioning from the '80s, Transformers, Thundercats, and all that,
Yep.
to the modern era of cartoons.
We had the kind of that happy period in the middle of, peak Cartoon Network.
Yeah, and
Could
then
you imagine something like Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy being made today?
and you imagine something even as spicy as Ed, Edd and Eddy, the most tame show of all time by comparison today.
Ed, Edd and Eddy
Volume
was
Strong.
strange.
I can't say I watched all that much of it, largely because I felt weirdly uncomfortable while watching it, and I wasn't sure why.
Yeah.
Everything about it is a little bit
Off.
Yeah. Just that little bit off. But, yeah, Grim Adventures... Oh, damn, I'm cute again. Grim Adventures, you had Mandy, who is basically a textbook nihilist. But, on the other hand, you had Billy and Grim. Billy being an idiot and Grim being, for some strange reason, Jamaican. I don't know if that was ever actually explained. But, he's the Grim Reaper and he had a Jamaican accent.
Yeah, everyone knows the Grim Reaper is Mexican.
Nah. I actually kind of want the Haitian Grim Reaper because that guy's got style. Anyway, so yeah, you had a whole slew of like late 90s, early 2000s cartoons that were incredible. And then it all just kind of stopped.
Well, then CalArts happened.
Then CalArts happened.
Fern Yukon Strong.
Strength. So yeah, it's a shame, but like I've got a couple of nieces now. I need to show proper cartoons.
Yeah, that was also at a time when going outside was still part of a kid's thing you would do for fun.
Yes.
Like going out in the woods and going on adventures.
Go out, eat dirt. Dirt
That's
is a
terrible.
valuable part of any child's diet. Just saying.
I feel bad for all the kids nowadays that don't have that as part of their. We're 70, so we don't got to full clear the floors anymore. Just stop to get silver chests if you see them, because y'all need the aether pool. But otherwise, move on.
Yep. Yeah, everything's so sanitized now. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I don't know what cartoons are on television now. What constitutes kids' programming? Craig time.
Popping a site, popping a fortune, deleting the BFR. Go get them, Titan.
All right. Boom.
3 of the exits are fake. They can be any trap on the trap list.
Yep.
Or 2 of the exits are fake, rather.
Yeah.
Sometimes they don't seem to have a trap. They just disappear.
Yeah, sometimes they do. But yeah, modern cartoons like this.
The top left one's the real one.
There's a few treasure chests over here.
Yep. That's why we use the site.
Peloton!
And we got our Magicite back.
Yay! There we go. Oh, there's another one over here. Look at this. It's a dungeon where Peloton isn't useless.
Peloton's incredibly useful in Labyrinth of the Ancients.
Yeah, it is.
Speaking of, give me Peloton.
No. So yeah, that's as far as nerdery stuff goes. That's pretty much my lot. Though I am happy to be actually finding some really good games to play at the moment.
Yeah. You gonna be around at all this coming week? We got that Minecraft server all ready to go, and you kind of poofed.
Yeah, because everything just went bang in a big way,
Yeah.
and yeah.
I'm not saying it's your fault. It's just we got it together, and then everything fell apart.
I found a volcano island. I need to build an evil genius lair in it. It's just what you do.
We've got all kinds of stuff on the server now. You should pop over sometime next week.
I should. Maybe after the show, we'll see what happens.
So we got to get your your Dark Knight some levels so you could place something in Heaven on High other than Mechanist.
I got to get some of that sweet, sweet experience. I kind of want to push Summoner over the line, even though like I know I sat down with the intention of leveling Summoner and I got it a few levels, but I still feel like I should be doing a lot more than I actually am when playing that class.
No.
But no, that's it.
That's
no,
it.
you don't.
Dancer is about 3 times as complicated as Summoner.
Yeah. Dancer, I think, would be very similar to the Machinist in a lot of ways. Like, you're always pressing
No,
something.
no. That's not what I mean. It was a joke.
Okay.
Dancer is all reaction-based, and there is no brain work at all when you play Dancer, and Summoner somehow has even less.
There's
Okay.
no brain work, then why do I always make mistakes?
I'm more referring to the fact that there is always a button to press. Whereas Summoner, there is not a button to press. Sometimes there is just no button to press.
Yeah,
They've
there-
got some serious business long cast times on that class.
Oh, they do. Especially if you're raw casting Ifrit's Ruin. Yeah, so. Anyway, Vol, what you been doing?
Not all that much. It wasn't a terribly busy week, but I was quite tired all week due to basically not controlling the time of day that I went to bed very well. Because obviously I haven't watched enough of that Watame and Calliope rap
Oh no.
about how you need to lead an orderly life where you eat meals on time and go to bed on time.
What is this mythology of which they speak?
Because this is the sort of wholesome rap content produced by Watame and Calliope.
Considering some of Calliope's other raps, that's surprisingly wholesome.
And the best part is Watame sings the English part.
Okay.
Yeah, so you've got this heavily accented Japanese and heavily accented English.
Because they swapped languages.
That sounds honestly weird. Actually, that reminds me. YouTube's being weird to me lately, and it's insisting I watch Lucy Pyre.
Yeah.
Well, if you watch Final Fantasy stuff, she gets in your recommends.
Yeah, but last video of her I watched, she basically ragged on me personally for like 15 minutes for playing Machinist, so...
Yeah, I mean, this is the inverse of wholesome.
She is definitely not wholesome.
She's like... Coco wishes she could be that
Degenerate.
uncouth.
That's a good word for her, actually. Uncouth. Can you be regular couth?
I don't know, I felt like her waifu recommendations were pretty good.
Yeah. I don't mind Lucy's content as long as you don't take her serious.
I just gotta be in the right mood
There's
for
not- there's
Lucy's
not much of
content.
There's not much of it, so she doesn't outstay her welcome.
Yeah. But sometimes you just need to sit down and watch a good amount of Final Fantasy-based degeneracy.
Yeah, and listen to Lucy talk about the size of the male genitalia on all the females in Limsa.
Yes. Like I
Is
said,
Want
degeneracy.
to? I suppose she's got that sort of she's still got that one of us cred that a lot of streamers eventually lose.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's only...
Speaking of, I just don't understand this streamer swarm phenomenon. Like, people watch streamers presumably because they like them, and they want to play with them presumably because they like them. But when they're like, when you have a streamer who's like doing Final Fantasy for the first time, it's just everybody swarms. Just swarm.
For the big ones,
It's
yeah.
it's like, as a person who occasionally watches streams, I feel embarrassment by proxy.
There's a silver
like-
chest over here.
You've got
Okay,
Peloton,
we'll
go get it.
I mean, I could, but I'd have to fight my way through all these guys and it'd take too long.
You've got drill, it'll be fine.
I do have drill. Yeah, so there's a good amount of for the big streamers particularly. There's there's a streamer swarm, and sometimes they invite it, other times they don't. And then you have stream sniping, where the stream.
Take it for a walk.
Nah, it's alright. It's dead now. So The stream sniping is another issue entirely as well, where they turn up,
Well-
the swarm turns up uninvited.
Well, the thing, I don't understand the stream swarm culture, because you're just making a blob around a dude. You don't have any kind of interaction with them. You're not even
The
really
thing is,
part of anything.
The thing is, I think that's only getting halfway there. The reality is that most of these people are trying to involve themselves with this streamer because they like them, and yet this like seems to manifest as ensuring that they have the crappiest possible experience of the game.
Mm-hmm. There was a streamer who said as much, that they could not play, and they had a really crap experience with Final Fantasy. I think it was Asmongold.
He played a reasonable amount of it, but I mean, he's also probably got one of the biggest audiences on the internet. So,
and possibly one of the most cancerous.
Yeah, most likely. Especially since he will have a lot of people in his audience who don't want him to have a good experience because he's got MMO wars in his community as well.
Yeah.
Due to being probably one of the biggest WoW streamers there is, but it just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Like, I would say that probably, like, the biggest reason, in my opinion, that Iris only ever did Final Fantasy once is that because she got swarmed constantly, and Ina explicitly said the reason she doesn't want to stream Final Fantasy, despite her being a really ardent fan of Final Fantasy XIV, is that she doesn't want her streaming life to overlap with that. She wants it to be a refuge away from the crowds.
Mm-hmm. There is one piece of advice that a lot of the big streamers do throw around fairly liberally, is to fledgling streamers, is to have 2 accounts. One for you and one for the stream. That way you can still play the game you enjoy without being bombarded.
Yeah, that's what triggered a lot of the hatred that Ayame goes through, was that when she was too sick to stream, she still wanted to play video games occasionally.
Mm-hmm.
But when she was spotted in the wild playing video games, people treated it as, oh, well, it's her job to entertain us, and if she's not doing that, then she shouldn't be allowed to play video games.
Yeah. And that's the thing I think is really just nasty about the whole thing. It's just, sometimes they're not on the clock. They're just there to play the game. Leave them alone.
Remember when video games used to be mostly for fun?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's big business now.
I mean, it's fine if you see a streamer out in the wild, they're playing a game. If you run up, you do a slash wave and move on. That's fine. But, yeah, not everyone does that.
Yeah, I only bring it up because I've watched a few recently, and it's just, I just feel too embarrassed to keep watching. It's like, I feel like the people watching the stream are sort of like representing me in a sense as an audience member, and the behavior is just really cringe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't have such a busy time, so I was able to play a little bit of video in the evenings, but that mainly manifested as, well, my favourite thing to do in Final Fantasy when I'm tired and I get home late from work is main scenario roulette after dark.
This sounds like dangerous.
Things get really wacky in there when it's like the wee hours of the morning and everybody's remembered, oh, I've got to do main scenario roulette for the XP. And more often than not, the people there are just a little bit loopy.
Either sleep deprived, drunk, or both.
Yeah. But that makes it very entertaining. Like, and of course there's a lot of time to shoot the shit in chat because you're watching such devastation or whatever.
Yes.
He's gonna say the thing.
And so you, oh well, Nero's doing his soliloquy so we can pass snide comments about how he's super jelly or whatever.
We've got half an hour to waste.
So yeah, I've killed a lot of time chatting with people in main scenario roulette, really.
Honestly, I do appreciate the unspoken competition that's going on in Duty Roulette as well. Who can show up with the stupidest costume and ruin the cutscene?
Yeah, I don't think that I've ever seen anybody who has topped in terms of like disturbing the vibe. The guy who was just like a perfect Hildebrand model.
It's just Hildebrand there.
Yeah, and so like in every he's completely indistinguishable from NPC Hildebrand. Has the hair right, the face right, the outfit right. Everything is exactly Hildebrand, and he's just kind of there.
I've had people dress up as clowns and various other sorts of things. Usually, a lot of strippers.
Yeah, especially if you get RST in your group.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm wearing
there
perfectly
are.
acceptable public attire right now. Thank
You're
you
not
very
wearing
much.
any pants.
Yeah, no.
I
you're not.
never wear pants. Pants are a myth. They don't exist.
But you do get a
They're
lot of
just a
people
figment
who.
of your imagination.
Yeah, you get a lot of people who come straight from Limsa Minsa to the duty, so that's kind of
Straight-
excusable.
Straight from their ERP den in the lavender beds.
Yeah, let's not talk about the ERP den in the lavender beds.
I mean, there's a lot of them.
Square Enix
They're
prefers
advertising-
to say it doesn't exist.
They're advertising in Gridania and in Limsa all the time.
Yeah.
I
Actually,
don't know why. I don't know what they want to happen as an outcome of that. I thought that they
Why-
were all on like Belmung or something, but I
Most
guess
of them
they're
are.
not. Yeah, people are saying that they reckon that when the new if they're not all on Belmung, when the new server opens up, they're all going to gather on Helicarnassus.
Oh no. That pun.
yeah. Appreciate the pun.
I don't really want to.
Too bad.
I want to stay away from it. Nothing to do with ERP is
Yeah.
worth the suffering.
Getting away from the ERP side of it, some of the RP get-togethers I've seen a couple of videos on, they get insane. Like the amount of
people
work they
put a-
put into them.
People put a lot of effort into these things, and
They do.
The game rewards it. Like you're not. It's not like a perfect sandbox or anything, but you're given exactly enough tools to accomplish basically anything that you want.
Yep.
So, I mean, there's things like that that really make a game last. Like, WildStar was preserved far outside its use-by date, given the mistakes they made, simply on the weight of its ability to build housing.
That housing system was incredible.
I had a beer sign.
You did.
Everybody had a
But-
fear side. It was the
Yeah,
easiest
when you
thing
go
to
to one of these things in Final Fantasy, they usually get you in on a Discord, and they'll have someone who set themselves up in there as a DJ, and they'll be selling in-game and out-of-game drinks and all sorts of things. I don't know how the out-of-game drinks works, but apparently they do it sometimes. So, yeah, there is... Oh, which reminds me, you remember that billboard a few weeks back?
I didn't read any of the stories on it. It was just a thing that happened. Apparently, there was a lot of drama amongst the community of people who actually, create content. But I don't know.
Yeah, 'cause,
that it had to do with anything because I stayed away from the whole story.
Because the whole thing was so absolute top tier, just chef's kit, just cringe. But yeah, there's a lot of debate at the time because is this legal? And I think the outcome of that was kinda, which is about as non-committal as you can get.
Well, I think the outcome was it doesn't go out of its way to violate things enough for it to be a big deal.
Well, they also covered all their bases with having the correct copyrights on the billboard. But ultimately, it was a giant billboard that advertised an in-game RP event in real life on a freeway. Apparently, there's two of them actually. So, yeah, that kind of gives you an indication of just how seriously some people take these things. Though I think at that point you can say they're taking it a bit too seriously.
If they got the money. There are worse, I have more money than I know what to do with ideas.
There
are
are.
much worse things you could do with your I'm rolling in dough. Now, the correct answer is give it to me. I need that money. I
Either
need
that
money.
or swimming pool full of chocolate pudding.
I'll take your money if you don't want it. But if you must throw it away, at least you're not donating it to Klaus Schwab or something.
Yeah, don't throw it after weird politicians or dodgy charities. Yeah, donating
what
to
the hell
charities.
was I talking about?
Yeah, I was gonna say donating to charities all well and good, but do your research first because a lot of that money just disappears into the void.
Well, the void of somebody's pocket, usually.
Usually, some administrative red tape. A lot of it disappears.
And these days, not even that. Like, if you look at all of what happened with all of those donations to Black Lives Matter, people just straight up pocketed it. There was no attempt to conceal what was going on.
They didn't have to at
Well,
that point. They were beyond
There's
reproach.
there's so many lawsuits about it now.
I can imagine.
It's like, no, you got what your money paid for. You didn't donate money for any other reason other than to virtue signal, and you got to feel virtuous for 5 seconds. So you got
what you paid for.
No sympathy whatsoever.
Yeah. Anywho, what were we talking about?
I don't know. Anyway.
All right.
Using the
New
phone.
topic.
So yeah, that's that. There's currently the new event going on in Pinecone, and I have not been able to bring myself to do the Shiritori event
Don't.
because that is a heck of a long road.
And it's okay. So it works like this: there are cards that each player has, and one player, the computer plays a card, and this card will be a word of whatever's on the card, like a star, and star begins with S and ends with R. So of your cards, you have to play a card that starts with R, because star ended in R. Now, this is all well and good, except for the part where this has to be localized from Japanese.
Oh no.
So, we get responses that are like, Akino does not start with the letter R, but would be a valid response because an alternative interpretation of her card is rich beyond belief.
That's not a translation error. That's deliberate. It's like that in Japanese as well.
That's
the game.
Isn't
That's
that just
the
how
whole point of the
kanji
game
works?
But
the whole point of the game is to come up with alternative names for things. Although I must say, Chelaroob is a bit stretching it.
Yeah, so you wind up with some just really wackadoodle ones that just don't. I don't know how you got there.
So did you autism it anyway?
No,
because that's the sort of stupid crap you do.
I gave up on that one. When
I have the spreadsheet. I have the spreadsheet set up. I just have to check off the ones that I've got, and then I can search for ones that I don't have each time.
So
I just
you are
haven't
going
had the
autism
nuts
it.
to actually do it. Because it's going to destroy my life.
Yeah, it would take eons. No, I didn't even try.
I took a lot. I spent a lot of effort repairing all the lookups on the spreadsheet so that it would generate the correct ones and flag the correct ones that I have and the ones that I don't. And then by the time I was done with that, I couldn't be bothered actually playing the game. It's sort of like how I do a lot of deck building, but then I never use the deck.
Oh dear. That's a lot of
yeah.
dudes.
It's conventional Shiratori, but it's you can be creative with your interpretations.
Also, just catching up on the messages I've been sent during the week, and there's Kuka memes. I have more questions than I did before. Or is it the answer to those questions? It's Kuka.
And Kuka is the closest thing Aristeel has to an anime waifu.
Yeah.
Sent you a lot of Kokoro too.
You did send some Kokoro. A lot of Kokoro, actually. Also,
Mostly
one
her
horrifying
legs.
jack-o'-lantern.
I sent him the Soy Wojak.
Yeah.
Jack-o'-lantern I sent you all.
Whoa, jack-o'-lantern. Oh, that thing's gonna scare some children.
I will post the Soy Wojak Jack-o'-lantern for live show chat.
Somebody save me!
No. Why? You found a mimic. Why was it quivering?
Oh dear. So yeah, that's a thing. There's a certain minimum amount of Shiratori you have to play in order to get the jewels and that, but I haven't gotten around to that. I've got another week to do it, thank goodness. But yeah, I don't know if I don't think I'll be going for the 100% completion award.
Yeah.
Because yeah, that's it's not like it's set up to be easily completable either. Like you could easily only get dealt cards that are responses you've already given once. So
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I'm playing Princess Connect just to get some answers to these questions. Like, what is a Kuka?
I finally did pull Kuka, but I still haven't done her character stories yet.
They're
I'm
very
a little bit
Kuka.
scared too. Yeah, she's not normal at all.
Hang on, I'm just gonna delete the room.
You gonna press the button? Okay.
I'm getting everything set up for it. Come, Titan.
Hi, Titan. Dwarf.
Only one exit, so no traps. Just run around and collect stuff.
Free treasure. Will you have an intuition up? Nah, might as well, I suppose.
Yes.
Oh, it's right here. That's convenient. So yeah.
I mean, the selling point of Princess Connect is it takes literally no time to get rolling.
Well, that's the practical selling point there. Unfortunately, the inverse is also true, that you'll never feel like you've caught up when you start late, unless you're Aristeel.
Right. Yeah. How's the combat system actually in that game? Because
There's a lot of there's as much depth to it as you want there to be. Exactly as much as you want there to be. So if you don't give it a toss at all, you can just, set up a passable team and auto your way through literally everything. If you want to be a sweaty no-lifer, you can spreadsheet everything in like tenths of a second that will happen, and then map out mathematically exactly what is perfectly optimal to do. And then crack the whip over a bunch of minions to get them to give you control of their account so that you can give them perfectly orchestrated battles during clan battle season.
My ass is too big.
My level of play in Pinecone is every day that is not clan battle day, or that week's tower or that month's Tower of Luna is I play it on the can. And that's
even do event special bosses on the can?
Yeah.
I have not even bothered because I don't think I can build a team that can survive those fights.
It does seem like the ultimate toilet game. But yeah, every time I get the impulse to try it, it's like it's a gacha game.
It is just another gacha.
It is a side games gacha game though, so they do. You get plenty of juice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
it's a bit more friendly
Vol's-
than many.
Vol's been able to spark every character he's really wanted or needed for the meta since he started.
Yeah, I've gone out of my way to pass up on basically everything that was non-critical, just to make sure that I can. It's a game that power creeps itself hard enough that sooner or later it's going to have to pay the price, and the price is to design around certain comps, and so you don't really want to fall too far behind. The only one which I didn't spark that I do need is Summer Carol, but I figured that I might as well save those jewels for Nenica because she seems to have a greater impact in general.
Yeah, I'm currently running mini Magic comps that don't use Summer Carol but do use Nenica for mixed teams.
Yeah,
So Nenica is much more important.
Nenica was basically the solution to me being able to start collecting the very hard shards. Like none of the other comps that I had could get through those stages. Well, the big problem was Pecorine. The reason being that the timer was a huge problem because, that Pecorine is serious business at durability, and I just could not output the numbers necessary to bring her down within the timer. I think in the end I just did it. I built a carry up to a max that I could just for that, and that was enough to get me over the edge using a Nenica comp.
I got a baby Brachiosaur.
Look, got the hairstyle.
I'm going to get sparklers. That's what's going to happen. Let's see.
All the sparklers.
One Udo and cut a Shardine card. Okay, I don't need that. What's the next one?
What is this? It's a Savnarian Bolerio. It's a chest armor.
Oh, that's
Corpus Kid. I've got the pet. Corpus Kid.
Oh, he sells for vendor price. He's not a very valuable pet.
I know, but I don't have it, so.
Wind up Lakshmi.
Magic Prism.
And Zervanite Binding. Sweet.
Magic Prism.
I actually got some decent items out of it that time.
I don't think I've ever met anybody who has poor luck as me as these things. Peach confetti.
Oh yeah, we got plenty of that. That's not confetti.
Battle Dance Materia 5.
Where'd that binding go? There it is. I have a lot of random junk in my inventory. I need to clean that
Magic
again.
Prism. Yeah, so basically I got nothing out of that. Worth note. I did get one pet that I don't have, so technically not nothing.
Yeah. At least
Anyway.
Heaven on High, unlike Palace of the Dead, is you can actually get decent rewards out of the lower levels, including pot shards.
Oh, pot shards are the biggest pain in the ass in Heaven on High.
Yeah.
Because even though you only got to do 30 floors to get a pot shard, that's about the drop rate on lower floors for pot shards is way lower than Palace of the Dead. Believe it or not.
Palace of the Dead, I'm swearing the lower floors, the pot shard drop rate is 0. It certainly feels that way.
I've done full runs of Heaven on High and gotten just the guaranteed pot shard so many times up to like floor 70, about as far as I can reasonably solo consistently.
Yeesh.
Did you blow up Fern?
No, you got a Mimic. I'll bring him along. Come on, pet Mimic. You're coming with me now. I'm just going to shoot backwards. It's fine. This is how guns work.
Dropped a copper.
Or you could just Titan. That works too.
We had a treasure room, so I just blew it up.
Fair enough. So yeah. One day I will try Pinecone. One day.
Pinecone's a thing. The problem is that Crunchyroll totally broke the story mode in one of their patches. And the main reason that I play Pinecone is for the story, because I really like how it's presented and I enjoy the story and I enjoy the characters. However, Crunchyroll are clowns and they broke it, so now a lot of the voiceover doesn't work on random story chunks. So basically I'm stuck waiting for them to fix it, but they haven't even acknowledged the problem yet as far as I'm aware. The community has acknowledged the problem. I've seen people talking about it online, but as far as I can tell, they won't mention there's anything wrong. Which is very frustrating. Yeah, that's that. FGO is in Christmas rerun mode, which means a capped 10 box lottery event, which is at least it's capped, give it that. But this was also a really, really boring Christmas event. Like, the story is really dumb, and I don't really care. It's a rehash of all the other ones.
Oh, you can strong.
It's just Nightingale doing the learning the meaning of Christmas shtick. Hey, my ether pool arm is maxed.
There's the lesson she learned is do not randomly disembowel people in the name of medical science.
No, I don't think she'll ever learn that lesson.
Okay.
But yeah, so I'm not particularly thrilled about this. I'm just skipping through the story and doing the minimum amount of effort until the best farming node comes up, and then I'll farm the crap out of it for a couple of days until I clear the lotto boxes and call it good, since I've got good farming comps now. The best farming comp favours having a really strong single target archer, and I've got an NP2 Squirtoria, so that should be relatively straightforward to clear the event, and then I won't think about it anymore. I do have a vague memory that this event had an obnoxious challenge quest, but they all have obnoxious challenge quests, so we'll just see how it goes. But yeah, I don't think anybody's particularly enthused about this event. Maybe that's why they've decided to, in future, opt for doing fewer reruns of these. But that's just going to hack off all the people who want the welfares. So I think they should probably implement a system to allow people to get welfares that they miss. Which is something people have been asking for a long time, and that's something that they're inexplicably reluctant to actually provide. Goodness knows why. Like, I've got a friend who's still constantly complaining that he doesn't have... Hey, I just maxed out my Etherpool armor. He's
Nice.
constantly complaining that he doesn't have Archer Nobu, which is the one that a lot of people missed because it was one of the first welfares, if not the first welfare.
That was, that one happened before it really got traction in the West. I think they ran the event actually even before they released it in the US. It was only during the Australia-New Zealand beta.
No, they did did
Yeah.
release it in the US. Most the run at that point, up until very, very recently, in fact, the cycle of events taking place on US Global, it has been identical to the run taking place in Japan, except for the changing of the names of a few things, like things that were events to commemorate the release of some product or whatever that doesn't actually get released in the West, had their names changed. But other than that, everything has been a clone. The people in the development team have said that they're not going to be prioritizing so many reruns anymore, which is going to upset a lot of people. But we'll see. I don't know. Maybe they're winding the game down. It's hard to tell. A lot of the things about the future of it are very murky. So,
Yeah. Like, is there a sequel coming, or what are they doing?
well, it's been very, very heavily implied that they would like to do a sequel, but completely restructure the way the game works.
Oh yeah, like
Which they've got it. It seems to me like a lot of the reason why they don't fix a lot of the issues with FGO is that every time they come up with a good idea, it gets put in the FGO2 folder instead of in the fixes for FGO folder.
Yeah. Although I'm wondering how
But,
much they can actually do with the game they've got in the current state.
Well, I think that the biggest problem is not really the mechanics, but the game loop.
Mm-hmm.
Because the game loop is very vague and unsatisfying, because ultimately it ends up being just farming 99% of the time, and it's not really connected to goals, and that you can't... It's very hard for you to set out to... It's very hard to make a goal and then set out to accomplish it.
Yeah.
The goals are all very diffuse.
And inevitably the way you get there is grind.
If you're a long-term player... Well, the thing is that even grind is only going to do so much. If you're a long-term player, then mostly things become about keeping up with the meta. They don't become... It's not like people like me will have their pet project to make Kirihime into a goddess or whatever, but ultimately that's never going to fit in the meta anywhere. Whereas in like Pinecone, with one or two very, very marginal exceptions, every character is being made into a 6-star god.
Right.
Eventually they will all get done.
Even Jason?
Huh?
Even Jason?
No, not. That's we mean Pinecone.
Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, sorry, I missed that bit.
Yeah, in Pinecone they're making every character into a 6-star eventually, which means that all of the aspects of their kit that are inadequate and just don't perform will be looked over and then repaired. Whereas that's not the approach FGO's taken. FGO just releases more and more characters, and ones that are bad they fall behind. Mm-hmm. There's not really any further work done on most of them, except in a few marginal cases where they're real serious fan favorites. Also, don't dab too much on Jason. This is the era of Castoria. There are not very many AoE sabers that are arts types. So he's actually regarded as being extremely good right now, because he can do something that basically the other sabers can't. Because the next saber to fill in that category will be Muramasa, who is extremely good. However, also a 5-star, so most people won't get him, because while a lot of people are going to roll for him because he's a Shiro face, and apparently there are people who like that.
Okay.
While there will be a huge amount of people rolling for him because he is arguably a strong example of power creep because he's just that effective. There are lots and lots of other banners next year that people will be saving for as well, which is going to impact the number of people who might otherwise casually roll for him. Namely, that banner is going to be in extremely close proximity to a Space Ishtar banner, which is probably the one that I'll go at that period of the year, because I've got MP1, but MP2 allows you to overkill on a lot of stages, which will make looping with her much, much more effective, and she's also not a Nikki boy.
Not Shiro in an eye patch.
And later in the year, there's a huge cluster of very, very popular banners, namely Melusine, Morgan, and Koyanskaya, and I think Doman as well, though I don't have any intention of rolling for Doman. There's an awful lot of important banners later in that year, so people are going to be very tight-fisted with their quartz. So that means that Jason will be the prominent AoE saber option for a lot of people playing FGO.
Oh dear.
Got to build up your Jason.
How to make a lethal joke character.
He has a lot of, I think redeeming is a strong word, but justifying character moments in Atlantis. Like while most of what you see of Jason throughout your gameplay and little vignettes in that make him look like a humongous cad.
Yes.
He is, in fact, a humongous cad. However, you, in Atlantis, get to see how this humongous cad could also have made a name for himself as a hero.
By yeeting Hercules at things?
Mostly that's a solution, yes.
Yes.
However, part of the backstory of Atlantis is that Hercules gets slain very early on, I think, in the prelude before you arrive in the Lost Belt. Like, he's one of the early casualties, I think. Either that or he was never summoned at all. I can't remember which. Basically, Jason shows that he actually does, in the end, he does have the stuff of a hero.
All strong. Yep, we're good. Okay, cool.
You're strong.
Which is, it's surprising. It's surprising to see him play the hero after all this time. But yeah, he does have a heroic streak to him. It's just very narrow. Yeah. Anyway, that's that. Anime wise, a lot of the stuff for the season hasn't started yet, and much of the rest of it is isekai garbage, and I'm reluctant to watch it.
How deep has the barrel been drilled through this time?
This season has a show about a guy who's reincarnated in another world as a sword.
Oh, we come full circle then.
Yes.
Didn't the vending machine isekai, was that going to get an anime this season?
I don't remember. That project was announced a long time ago, but
yeah, I thought it was
sort of dropped off the map.
Yeah, I thought
maybe
it
it got done and I
soon.
just didn't notice because there's such a huge swarm of isekai titles these days.
And most of them are bad.
Yeah. But yeah, so it's sort of hard to motivate myself to watch a lot of those. Like, even the ones that are not strictly isekais, but are set in a fantasy world, have an explicitly isekai-esque sort of framing to them.
Yeah, here we are.
Makes them feel like there's not really a distinction.
So you've got The Darling of Chainsaw Man coming out, as well as Spy X Family Part 2, and Mob Psycho 100 Part 3.
Bleach is making a lot of waves too.
Also
Yeah.
Bleach.
Because people have been painting that for literally years.
And Uzaki-chan for people who are thirsty, I guess.
Who like Big Booba, I guess.
They like the booba.
But
Blue Lock looks like the edgiest soccer anime I could imagine.
Sports anime is more or less the same every year. I will occasionally watch one, but I very rarely genuinely enjoy them
Yeah,
because they're so spectacularly formulaic.
there was one a couple of years ago all about sumo, which I got a really good kick out of. And, like, it followed the formula to a T. It was just a lot of fun.
Yeah, occasionally they can be interesting if it's an odd sport, but
Oh no.
most of the time they're just not that.
Oh, okay.
They're just not that interesting because you can predict every plot beat in advance.
Yep.
Occasionally I'll watch one, but I'll watch like one or two per year. Like just for a bit of variation, especially if I've been poisoned by a diet of isekai or something.
Yeah. Or there is Shitpost the Anime, Season 2. The old Pop Team Epic.
I've never watched an episode of Pop Team Epic.
It's, yeah, I don't think there's a word to describe Pop Team Epic. It is basically a shitpost in anime form is essentially how it comes down to.
Yeah, I can probably live with that, to be honest.
What really weirds me out is to pad out the time, they do the episode twice when they show it,
What?
but the second time through will have completely different voice actors, usually reverse gender, just because reasons, and they will change the episodes very slightly, just to screw with people.
I see.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you saying that just gave me Endless 8 flashbacks.
What else we got here? Boy Idols. Inspector Conan, but there's always Inspector Conan. There's a new Berserk.
I don't think people have gotten over the previous one yet.
TV
It was
edit
so
of the
awful.
Golden Age arc.
Isn't that the really old one?
I think it is, yeah. So it's just a
It's trying to wash away the taste of the previous remake.
remakes plural, I think, at this point.
The most recent one was deeply bad.
Yeah.
Like, just really, really bad.
People are still salty over Berserk 2016.
Yeah, I think that's the one.
I think they should just leave well enough alone.
I mean,
to be honest,
You got to hit people with frying pans. That's how you Berserk.
just stop desecrating that man's work. He's not here to defend it anymore.
He shouldn't have taken a certain popular pharmaceutical.
Wait, was that in that era? Was that already happening?
Oh yeah, that's why people said he died.
Oh, that's what got
people
him.
say
I
things,
think.
but I don't know if the timeline is correct.
Yeah. Let's see. A bunch of cute girls doing cute things. There's a new Gundam.
There's a
I
new
would
Gundam
be
every
perfect-
season.
There is always a
Yeah.
new Gundam.
I would be perfectly happy with the return to cute girls doing cute things. We need a break.
Yeah.
They tend to be they ever since K-On! Became popular, they've gotten worse and worse with each passing year. Though they've gotten like just more and more sort of deracinated fluff.
Yeah. Here we go. So I think the isekai trend for the last little while now has been stuck in an otome game.
People seem to be acting as though that's a recent trend, and I don't really understand why. Since
It's been around.
it started alongside it's just with a very slight time lag started alongside the conventional isekais because it is just the female isekai.
Yeah.
It's the distaff counterpart to the conventional one, and the only one of those that I've seen that has been particularly good is My Next Life as a Villainess because of the protagonist being an idiot.
Yeah, I loved how she's just a hot mess most of the time. It's kind of fun. But
She's just really dumb.
yeah. But like the otome game genre, it did pop up around the same time as the bog isekai, but I don't think it's changed at all.
Reason why people didn't notice it is because the wish fulfillment genre or the female audience is indistinguishable from isekai to begin with, because I've actually watched an awful lot of them, and I couldn't give a justification for why. You could say it's just sort of bile horror, but I've watched an awful lot of them, and some of them have singing Pomeranians for some reason. But they are all structured in the sort of the classic, oh well, high school girl who is sort of like not really that popular becomes embroiled in a sort of supernatural world that is populated entirely by hot guys.
Bishons.
Yeah,
Bishonans.
or Bishonen.
Yeah.
And because it's already got a really, really strong fantasy component to it, you basically don't notice when they switch to doing an isekai instead because the outcome is the same.
Mhm.
There's not really any difference. This is the boss that doesn't really do anything, right?
Again, this is the freest boss. Don't have your back to the dudes he summons on the walls. That's it.
Okay. He's just a flying potato.
But yeah, there's just nothing worth noticing about that whole genre.
Yeah, it's like it's just kind of there, and they're all basically the same.
Yeah, but it's always been there, and once in a while they will produce a gem. But this the same is true of basically any genre.
Yeah. I think also they just tend to overlap with generic boilerplate romance stories in a lot of cases, so people tend not to notice them so much.
That sounds like it would be a step up.
It probably would be in some cases.
But yeah, so they're not that remarkable. Maybe I'll watch this season's one about where the villainess taming the demon lord or whatever, but just because, not because there's any really good reason to.
Wasn't there a weird one where it's like Sentai villain falls for the lead Sentai hero? I can never find that one again.
I vaguely remember. It sounds like something familiar, but I didn't watch it, so I don't have any details.
Yeah, it came out I think a couple of seasons ago, and I kind of want to watch it, but I can never remember what it was actually called. So
Well, I'll tell you if I spot it.
yeah,
But yeah, it's just generally speaking, this is another one of those seasons where everything is extremely
blah.
conventional. Yeah, they're just following the momentum from the previous season more than anything else.
Yeah, like there's a couple of things that are interesting to watch, but none of it's, well, aside from Chainsaw Man, I suppose, is actually new.
Yeah, like I watched the new episode of Spy Cross Family last night, and it basically picks up where the previous one left off, barely missing a beat. Like there's a very, 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 very abbreviated summary at the start of the episode as to what happened last time, and then it's just business as usual, basically.
Fair enough.
But it's a good show. Like it's not. I don't think it's spectacular, but everything in it is done correctly for what it is. Like the camera work is good, the art is good, the storytelling is good, everything about it is good. There's nothing that you can really criticize. I don't know whether or not it'll be a landmark though.
Yeah.
It doesn't really have anything that stands out as like this is the show of a generation or anything. But everything in it is good. It's very watchable.
Yeah. Also, of the big anime being peddled this season, I think it's 3 of the top 10, at least, possibly 4, depending on your take on Mob Psycho, are shonen.
Yeah, I think that this is just it's more of people longing for a story about actual heroism.
Yeah. That's part of the reason why My Hero Academia is doing so well.
Yeah, I mean that's part of the same shonen trend. The thing that people are sort of noticing, in my opinion, on the gut level, not necessarily the conscious level, is that most isekai don't have heroism in them.
No.
Because the hero doesn't have to struggle in any meaningful way.
The hero is usually a shitlord.
The conceit of it is that whatever banal difficulties you went through in your mortal life before being isekai'd are sufficient struggle to justify you having a cruise throughout the rest of your existence. So, on some level, I think people feel that there is the heroism displayed in those stories is farcical.
Mm-hmm.
When they do struggle with Shieldy Boy, they play up the effects that has on people a bit too much. And he becomes very angry for over a whole season and a half.
Yeah, he just a lot of the time he just seems like a stroppy teenager.
Yeah, that's kind of one of the reasons
he is a stroppy teenager, so that kind of makes sense. But
that's kind of the reason why I like Log Horizon so much is because there weren't really any heroes in it.
No, because that's a story about nation building.
Yeah.
It's not really a story about heroism. Like
Yeah.
there are people that the difficulties that people are working out in that setting are the same difficulties they had in real life. Like the I think the ideal example for that is like Toya finding his resolve that he wants to return back to the real world. For those that don't remember, Toya is a character that long after you're introduced to him, it's revealed that in their home world, in the real world, he's paralyzed from the waist down. So he can't do the things in the real world that he can do in the quote game world unquote. It's not clear that it is actually a game world. And his sort of like processing that and the way he reacts differently to people around them that are acting as though they've got these great struggles, or they think that he doesn't have any great struggles because of course it's not visible to them what he went through or anything like that. Like those struggles that they go through are not isekai struggles, and they're not fantasy struggles. They are conventional real world struggles.
They're human struggles.
Like, well, how do you find purpose when the thing that you thought you were heading for, that you thought you really wanted to do, is now taken away from you by circumstances beyond your control, and you've got to somehow find resolve within yourself to move on anyway. Like, none of these things require the isekai. The isekai is just a framing device to bring them to the surface. So
Top left exit is the real exit.
Alright.
by contrast, your average isekai, and in with this is the stuck in a game type isekai, like Sword Art Online, and that, like, those struggles are not, they're not genuine. And the heroism is not genuine. Like, Sword Art Online, they don't clear the game. They just get handed the win in the end for no reason in that Aincrad season, the first season.
That could be basically the subtitle for Sword Art Online as a whole. For no reason.
Yeah.
Like, even the villain of the first season in particular, and this is always going to stick in my craw. He's asked why he did it. He just kind of goes, nah, and walks off.
Yeah. I've read fanfiction versions of the villain that give him very good reason. Very well realised ones. But that's not what the original author did.
Nah.
The original author didn't do anything. The original author just said, oh, well, I want this to happen so to justify the cringy sex scene I wrote between Kirito and Asuna.
Yeah, which
It never got published in the books. For good reason.
Isn't that season 2? Let's face it.
It's not in the books at all. It only exists in the web novel version.
User purity.
And it's like,
where's the purity? You gotta find it in here.
yeah, you're gonna die, man.
I gotta find purity.
You're very bad at this.
I can't find it. There it is.
Purity is second row, second palm. There we go.
God, the pox.
Yeah, the pox stops natural healing and does damage over time for 10 minutes.
Oh, that's what that whole business was. Okay. So yeah, the pox.
That's why you got to interrupt the mimics when they cast whatever the thing that's not Death Trap is called in this one.
Okay, I was only half paying attention to what the mimic was doing when I was fighting it.
Yeah, so I think that the resurgence in shonen is due to a desire for a resurgence in straightforward heroic stories where, oh, well, you've got a hero and you've got a villain and they clash and then there's the resolution.
Yeah. And then there's like 3 hours of exposition. But
Fortunately, I'm never going to get my wish. I just want a story that's finished.
Well, unfortunately, that's blocked by commercial concerns.
yeah, if you want that, you look for a one-core anime because that's all you get. The only place you're going to get it.
One core anime are almost never finished.
Or rushed, yeah.
They're always one core because they are trying to see whether this will do commercially well enough to do a second one.
Yeah, fair enough.
There are lots of stories like that. Well, lots of ones that I wish would continue that didn't. But
I don't care what tropes you use. I don't care what the tone of the story. I just want one that finishes.
No,
I know it's impossible.
People have been whinging about No Game No Life never getting another season for the longest time.
I don't think that's ever going to get another season. So,
No,
no ending for you.
They made a film.
They did.
long after the original one was done. I've never watched the film because I have the book of that film, and the book story is depressing, and I don't really want to watch the film because I don't want to be depressed by it.
Yeah.
It is very sad, but I thought the film was pretty good. It very clearly is abridging a whole novel into one movie, though.
That's not
Yeah,
an ending.
I read the novel long before the film came out, so I was already like, you know what, I'm just going to skip the season if they make it into an anime, because it's depressing. But, yeah, so I don't know what I watched this season. I did watch one other anime because I had a bunch to drink and I just picked one at random, and it was another one of the Suddenly There Are Many of These Alchemist anime. This one is not an isekai, it's just a story about an orphan girl who decides that she wants to be an alchemist because her parents had such a shop when she was little, and she wants to start one herself.
Yep. Capitalism ho.
It's very odd, and I feel like they should have just made it a Atelier tie-in, because the main character is sort of like a dead ringer for Rorona. And there's like the way she dresses, the way she also hair, even in some small respects, her personality is just Rorona Frixel from Atelier Rorona. So yeah,
Why not?
bit odd there. In fact, it's so similar that I wouldn't be surprised if in America there would have been a lawsuit over it.
Because we wanted to write a Ramona story, but we couldn't get the license.
Yeah, maybe I'm surprised. Honestly, with how popular Riza has been, I'm surprised that they haven't made an anime for her.
Well, is Riza popular or are her thighs popular?
The thighs are
Her thighs are
extraordinarily
popular.
popular. But if you're an anime heroine, what else do you really need?
Booba.
She's got the booba. She's got the thighs.
But she may have the booba, but them thighs just don't quit.
Yeah, they continue to grow, installment over installment.
There is one anime actually I might pick up just as the random weird one this season, and that's Beast Tamer Rain. I don't know what it's actually
I've heard that that's horrible.
Is
like,
it?
It's just it's incredibly rote. Like, it's paint by numbers. This Beast Tamer character gets ejected from the hero's party for not being powerful enough because all he can do is tame beasts. He can't do things himself. Oh, but it turns out his power is actually super OP, and this happens within the first episode.
Oh, wait, there are dragons.
There are also dragons. I was hoping for another Kimono Michi. I am disappointed.
No, there will never be another Kimono Michi.
No.
They think that was unique.
Alright, problem solved then. I'll just go watch Kimono Michi again.
That was an incredible isekai. Like, as far as isekai is concerned, that one I'm willing to give props to.
Yeah, why were we isekai? Nah. That was the whole reason. That was about as much explanations
because
they
you're a
got.
pro wrestler and are now going to proceed to try and make a pet out of everything in the fantasy world, all the while suplexing anybody who tries to get in your way.
But first, I'm going to suplex this princess. And then
I
run
feel
away.
really, really bad for her in a way. Like, I don't want to because she's another one of these inconsiderate princesses who isekai somebody from another world to solve her problems for her.
Princess
But,
Knickers.
She didn't.
Princess Panties, I think they called her.
She was only doing what was culturally acceptable to her and doesn't really understand why her life has fallen apart as a result.
And why this large man is flipping her upside down all the time.
For the amount of humiliation she has to bear, she does it with aplomb, so I've got to give her congrats for that.
She does. She's rather quick to get her composure back, usually. But when she does lose her shit, it's spectacular. It's great. Go watch Kimono Michi. It's fantastic.
Very, very silly.
Very silly. Also,
Yeah.
nobody ever really acknowledges that bug guy. He's just kind of there.
Yeah. I really like Shigure.
I like Shigure.
Like, she may be a money grubber, but, well, she needs to be.
She needs to be.
There's no other way that they're going to be able to keep food on the table.
It's a great show. I love it. And it ends. It's only one core, but it ends.
So it's quite satisfyingly contained, but it's also very, very silly.
Very, very silly.
Hey, there are midgets over there.
There are midgets. Hello, little onion people.
Go kill the midgets.
Too late. Shot them. Wow, that's horrible out of context.
Go Alec Baldwin the midgets.
Oh my.
Oh my. That's topical.
Not really.
Not really.
Anymore. That was a while ago now.
It's still dragging out. That's still in the courts. Because, lawyers got a lawyer.
Oh, come on. There's no way he's going to get prosecuted for it. He's famous.
Yeah. And I think everyone knows that.
If you're one of the rich and famous, the law doesn't apply to you. It's what it means to live in an aristocracy like the Americans do. Like, at least in a monarchy, the king has to obey the law. What the Magna Carta is all about.
Mind
But
you,
aristocracy has never obeyed the law.
that reminds me actually of one of these supermarket rags I saw the other day. Basically declaring that the very first thing the king has done is told Meghan Markle to go away.
Yeah, he banned her from going to Balmoral.
So essentially, the king's first decree is begone thought.
Yeah.
I love it.
Well, I mean, she does nothing but stir up controversy for the royal family, and they were grieving
Yeah.
for the death of Elizabeth II. And of course he wasn't going to let her into Balmoral, because she'll use it as an attempt to build her public image. She is an entirely unfeeling and cold thought.
So begone thought is the corrective response. Also, I've heard rumblings that they're going to declare Elizabeth II as Elizabeth the Great. So that's going to be interesting.
People have already started using that title for her upon her death. They had started calling her Elizabeth the Great.
Yeah. One of the few people who's managed to achieve it without through non-military means.
Well, I mean, for monarchs, I suppose popes get the Great usually for other things.
Yeah,
Most I don't think. In fact, I don't think any of the crusading ones have ever gotten the Great appended to their name. Like like John Paul the Great got it for bringing down the Soviet Union.
Yep.
Without military means. Leo the Great got it for reforms. Like Gregory the Great got it for reforms as well.
Yep. Now I can't think of a crusader that's got it. So yeah, it's a neat little bit of current goings on there, I guess.
Yeah, pity about the rest of British politics.
Oh, you mean the burning dumpster?
The entire nation is turning into a burning dumpster, and there's not a good reason for it either. It's just that they have a parliament full of incompetents being led by the most incompetent ones they can lay hands on.
Sounds like business as usual, honestly.
Yeah, we just had our local body elections. There's a massive shuffling of mayors, a whole bunch of like long-term career politicians bowing out all of a sudden inexplicably, which I think means that they just don't want to preside over an economic downturn.
Yeah, that's usually what happens.
I think that they're stepping back. They're going to let somebody else take the fall for economic catastrophe, and then they'll come back to rescue their respective cities when everybody wants the good old days back again.
Yep. It's practically page 1 in the handbook, that move. Anyway, we were talking about anime, weren't we?
Yeah, I don't think I really have much else to talk about because I'm not. Once again, I'm just not inspired by the offerings this season. My goodness.
No. I watched Chainsaw Man. I might watch the new Mob Psycho.
Is Chainsaw Man going to air this season? Because I know that they did a preview, but I didn't see which season they were actually going to do it.
Yeah, I think it's this season.
Yeah, it's 12th October, but Mal doesn't have a lot of information on it yet.
Yeah, I'm interested to watch that. I haven't read the manga, but I don't know. It seems like one of those ones that's a bit overhyped. Like, last time I saw a show that was this hyped before it was Attack on Titan, and I hated it.
Yeah, I didn't like Attack on Titan much either.
Like, people keep telling me, oh no, it gets better, but I just can't get through the beginning.
Yeah, that's
It
the problem.
gets worse right after that, though.
Yeah, it
Attack
gets
on
worse
Titan does
first.
Get better. No. Attack on Titan's pretty whatever at the beginning, and then it gets better, and then it gets way worse.
Yeah.
We crash and burn so hard. This guy has no telegraphs for any of his crap. He has the standard claw swipes, tail swipes, spins, etc. That's the claw swipe. Eyelet blast, laser beam when he crouches down. What else does he do? Balls will appear. They persist after their first explosion. He's going to laser beam in that direction right at Fern. And the don't be standing anywhere near until they go away. Okay,
Stay away from his balls. Gotcha.
look away mechanic.
I was looking away.
Not enough.
Apparently not enough.
Trying to remember everything this guy does on the fly. Yep. Run away.
Oh, I'm still dazed. Oh no, where are you taking me, game?
You're mind controlled. You're attacking Vol.
I mean,
So you're gonna go
There we
run
go.
up to Vol very slowly is what you're gonna do.
that is the
Plus
longest mind control in history.
Come on, man.
Heavy.
Laser beam.
What? You must be joking.
Pop that bloodlust. Use them super potions. Don't look at him. Don't look at him.
Can't use super potions.
Oh, come on.
They've been on cooldown.
Is it my latency?
Yeah, the latency in here seems to be insanely large. I mean, this is going to kill me.
Yeah.
Okay, I can solo this
Because
boss.
I was a million
Bang.
miles away from that eye beam that I got hit by. Like it was ridiculous. I was half the arena away when it hit
Don't
me.
even try to get near him. Don't try to get near him. Let him do this attack.
I have a gun.
I meant for Vol because he has no HP. There wasn't going to be a safe spot until his balls went away.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do not love
make-
his balls.
There we go. Alright, in that case, with that, we should find a time to take a break, because this is probably be a good
This
one.
is a good juncture for a break, I think.
Yep. I will. Fern, get your camera ready. We'll go back to last week's loading screen.
Oh no!
Oh
Here we go.
no, what are we doing?
He wants to show off his dance.
I want to show off my new hair.
He does position the fairy as the backup dancer.
Oh no, is it the fairy butt?
I'm going to try and face it the right way though this time. It may or may not work. It's hard to say.
This is absolutely clowning things up.
Okay, now make it naked.
Wow. Oop, there she goes. Oh, she's spooky. She's not
She does have
naked.
clothes.
She does.
Okay.
Her bum's
It
hanging
was
out,
worth-
but she has clothes.
It does not look like it from behind.
No, her
She
bum
does
is
not
hanging
make it
out.
close.
So, yeah. Anywho, I'm actually kind of sad. My character's head doesn't move. It's just looking at the spot your hitbox is. It'd be a shame if he. I'd love it if he just watched you going back and forth, but he doesn't. Anywho, we should take a break.
Here's some music
Okay,
first. We'll be right
yeah,
back.
Oh, what's with the bouncing?
So,
Bouncing.
I
Yeah,
did the yay, the happy emote.
yeah, that. Is that a cash shop one as well?
No, I don't have any cash shop emotes.
Okay, that's
I have
cool.
cash shop. I have cash shop hair and cash shop shoes.
Yeah,
And
cash
cash
shop.
I thought the Eastern dance was a cash shop one.
That's that Thavnarian dance. It's in the game.
Oh.
I definitely didn't spend money for it.
Yeah, that's my version of the happy emote. Less bouncing, more roaring.
No.
I mean, if you prefer.
This is what happy looks like.
Oh yes.
I mean, Fern, if you prefer, we can always hang on.
Oh no. Why do I not like where this is going?
I just had somebody in the middle of a raid doing this over and over again.
Why?
You know exactly why.
Begone, thought.
So, now, where were we? We were
All
at
right.
False Week.
Yeah.
I think I heard enough of my week.
All right.
All right.
So, Aura
So-
Steel week.
Yeah, ours still week. Ours still week was work is continuing to be annoying and taxes, and I hate the government. Not a whole lot to report on the work front.
There has never been a time where you didn't hate the government, so it's sort of surplus for you to tell us that.
Yes.
Yeah, but during tax time, it turns from a passive hate into a oh right, I got a single pull in this floor set.
Wasn't there one of these monsters that's really horrid?
A bunch of them can be pains in the butt. This one is tax vuln, so I got a single pull from here on.
Yeesh.
So yeah, also because I'm doing my week at this, I'm adorable.
Why do you gotta be so adorable all the time?
Because I do. It's just in my nature. So yeah, work is just me learning to hate the government all over again. Every time you have to interact with them, it's like magic. You just hate them a little bit more in new and creative ways. And you just find yourself imagining IRS agents disappearing from the world in more and more creative fashions. It's really quite amazing when you think about it.
In Minecraft.
In Minecraft.
Okay.
Don't worry about harming them now, it'll be fine.
Oh, I would love to see. They are going to send those guys out to small businesses out in rural America, and you notice all this junk that's happened in America happens in the cities for a reason. Over the last 5 years, because in the mountains, crazy people blow up the Georgia Guidestones and should be given the Medal of Heroism.
Those things still
get out-
confuse me.
Well, they're just a big, communist block of WTF that has the sketchiest, shady history you've ever heard about.
Honestly, even communists were WTFing on those things.
I don't know, but yeah. So just work has been work. I hate the government. I feel a reread or re-listen of at least a few of the Monster Hunter International books coming up. Just do taxes for a small business. You think you're for big government? Do taxes for a small business in the United States. It'll change your mind real fast.
Yeah, I know. It's like in that case, being for small business would be being for big government. If as a small business would be sort of like being for bandits as a traveler.
Yeah, or being for wolves as a sheep. You just don't do that.
Why'd you have to talk about sheep? Now the rap is back in my head again.
May.
Ugh.
Not that one. But yeah, Vol has he sent me a clip of Watame, and so I pulled up a few of her videos and posted them around, and now he has the Watame song stuck in his head.
I'm not watching it. I refuse.
But it's such a cool song.
It's
It's
sheepy,
so
not
wholesome.
sleepy. Get sheepy, not sleepy. That's my favorite line in the whole thing.
Oh no.
Oh, what am I doing? Oh, right. I
What
can't
are you
walk and chew
doing?
bubblegum, so I'm going the wrong way.
Fine, I'm gonna kill this slug then.
now I have to talk and be a guide at the same time, and these things are mutually exclusive skill sets, obviously.
Yeah, you're still fighting? Nah, okay, cool.
Good. So yeah. What all has been going on other than the little bit of itchy gaming? Because
Trails.
Trails, right? So I didn't start this until yesterday, so this is a fairly end of the weekend phenomenon. I couldn't sleep last night, so
I wondered why the
decided-
hell you were still up.
yeah, it was really late, and but I didn't have to work the next day, and so I was just like, I'll just sleep in, and that worked fine. Got plenty of sleep. But during the evening, I booted up Trails from Zero, and right away I understand why nobody wanted to translate this game.
Is that bad?
And no, it has nothing to do with the quality of the story of the game. It has everything to do with the technical limitations of the game, and that the text boxes are allowed to scroll once. And these are very dialogue-heavy games. So scrunching the Japanese down to fit the allotted text boxes, and as far as I can tell, there is no way to stop the dialogue from triggering the next voice line whenever you press the continue button.
Oh, so they crash
So
into
they're-
each other?
What you'll wind up with is sentences falling behind. Like the most immediate example of this was in the very first little opening bit of the game. It's a flash forward to presumably something will happen later, and you got the special support section's 4 main dudes all together, and Lloyd gives this cheesy opening speech, and they all lampshade it about how they're all in this together. But instead of like saying in the English, they translate it as the 4 of us have been together since the beginning, and we've been through so much or whatever. In the Japanese, you can very clearly hear him saying, the 4 of us, Lloyd Bannings, Randy Orlando, T.O. Platt. Like, it goes through the names, the full names of everybody. That would never fit in the English text box.
Yeah.
So, concessions for that are going to be made throughout the game, and is very clearly the reason everybody was talking about why this game was a technically difficult game to localize. Because you just don't got enough space to write down the full text.
You got to get creative.
Well, they've done a very good job so far, but I'm only through the prologue. The door's open, by the way.
Alright, let's get out of here then.
And so far, I've been enjoying it. I did get gotted, though. I got gotted pretty good. I thought that the new localization team had just axed all the chess messages. Now, obviously, they can't keep any of the fan-submitted ones from the fan translation, which I'm actually thankful for, because it means all the Zoomerisms are going to be flushed. Because there's legal reasons you can't do that in the US.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get off this floor as fast as possible, because auto-heal disabled on this set of floors in particular can be quite scary.
Why don't we just, can we purge it? Do we have a...
No, it's not worth a purge.
Okay.
There are much
Our
worse
tank and it'll be fine.
Yeah, just get off the floor as fast as possible. And I can use Aurora, and we can sit there and let it come off cooldown and keep healing me if we need to.
The floor is lava.
So, so far it's been very good. What was I saying about the other stuff? Oh, the chess messages. So obviously, for legal reasons, they cannot use the chess messages in the U.S. or because of the laws we have here. Some rando that submitted could come up and sue them for copyright. So they've had to rewrite all the chess messages. And you're going through the first dungeon, and it looks like at first the localization team just purged them all, and they're all gone. And you got every chest just says the chest is empty when you check it, until the very last chest in the back of the prologue area.
Oh, that's not good.
Oh, that's
that's-
bad.
Look away from that. Fern, this is all you. Oh no. Enough of that.
Chicken! Enkidu's!
Fern killed things.
I'm killing the things.
And it says, the chest is empty, ellipsis. Next line. Haha, you thought we forgot, didn't you?
Ah!
So I got it real good.
They did done gig at you.
And so far, it's setting up to be pretty good. You have a much more heroic character that is usually in a Trails Pro Tag seat, where Lloyd Bannings is clearly a shining beacon of goodness, which I know from the future games he has his own hangups that are going to subvert this because Cold Steel has spoiled it for me.
So you give Lewd head pats.
He does give Lewd head pats. He's not as bad as Reen, but he does give Lewd head pats.
So chronologically, where is the story?
It's immediately after the Sky series, but before and during the first half of the Erebonia arc. So the Erebonia games are the Cold Steel games. You have Cold Steel 1 through 4. This game takes place a little bit before Cold Steel 1 and through the halfway point of Cold Steel 2.
This sounds
but it's set up
confusing.
Yeah. Well, it was released before the Cold Steel games. The games clearly assume you have played these before when you're going through the Cold Steel series. And it was meant to be played right after Trails in the Sky. And it's widely regarded to be the best Trail series out there, which I'll be the judge of once I get through the whole thing. Because like Sky and the two halves of the Cold Steel series, it's a two-parter, and it's a very clear two-parter from what's been implied in the Cold Steel games. So I won't be able to give a full appraisal of the story yet on this one until we get to.
So in theory, you're supposed to play Sky and then Zero and then Cold Steel?
Yeah. You're supposed to play the Sky trilogy, the Crossbell duology, which is Zero and Azure, and then Cold Steel. But we just skipped the Crossbell series in the West, because XC didn't have the money to localize it, and it was a ginormous project. Or we just skipped the Crossbell series.
Cold Steel earned them the money to actually do it?
Well, XC doesn't have the license anymore. It got moved to NISA.
Right. Everybody hates NISA.
Yeah,
because they're an absolutely cancerous localization department.
Yeah, so after the disaster that was the Geofront... Yeah, we got a potsherd. After the disaster that was the Geofront's bruh moment to steal their insert, they've apparently gone out of their way to really clean up this release.
Clean it up as in do it properly, or clean it up as in sanitize it to their standards?
Remove all the Zoomerisms.
Okay, good.
There was a whole lot of just flagrant mistranslations flaunted as localization by the localization team because a bunch of Californians infiltrated Geofront when the project got underway.
Yeah, well, you say that, but I feel like that's more commonly the case than them not being there, to be honest. I feel like it is more common for a localization to get trashed in the process rather than for it to be at least, roughly thematically appropriate.
Well, I expect it from a proper localizer. I don't expect it from a fan group like Geofront, which previously had done other projects. They were prominent for doing the extra material for the Trails series before this as well. That's why they're called Geofront, because Geofront is a place in Crossbell, is one of their bigger projects before they started doing stuff for video games, was localizing all the extra Trails content. Not localizing, but translating all of it before they started making proper full game projects. We got another auto heal disabled, so we need to get GTFO this floor as fast as possible.
Yep.
So yeah, so far so good. I'm just through the prologue though. I don't have a whole lot of meat to report back on yet. And I am really worried about this localization because its history just ain't good. And the limited text box problem that I noticed immediately just scares me even more.
Well, maybe that will leave them less room for Zoomerisms.
We can only hope.
Well, I don't know. I feel like I don't understand why they jam Zoomerisms into everything, because it would be like, to me, it's like deciding that they're just going to make every character in story speak in Valley speak? Like,
Yeah.
why would you make that decision?
I don't know. Well, yeah, I don't know. I can't come up. I can
It's like,
try and come
oh,
up with
this
justifications, but
The
they're all
entire game takes place on Talk Like a Pirate Day.
Yeah.
So take care of yourself, please.
Oh, he's gonna die.
I died.
Yeah.
As I was hitting the
Yeah.
purity, I died. Oh, it even went off. I got the animation.
That's not
Why?
a purity. That was a bleed. That was a normal bleed.
What, to get the big flashy glowy bit?
Yeah, that's just your health is low.
Weird.
Yeah, that was a normal bleed from a normal mob on this floor. So that's why I said we had to be careful. I was only coming down there to get the horde.
No, more as the effects for the purity, the visual effect for the purity was going off as I died.
Oh, purity won't heal that. Purity only cleanses pox.
Why?
Purity is just there to undo mimics. It does nothing else.
Why you do this, Squeenix? Why you hate us?
Yeah, that's a normal dot. You're supposed to. The only way it could have been cleansed is with a healer.
Anywho.
So yeah. So I am a little worried because of the rocky history the crossbow games have had. They're supposed to be amazing. Everybody that's played through with the spreadsheet says they're easily the best story in the franchise. So this can go either way.
I'm
With,
rolling in it
with
today. My goodness.
Ah,
Man, you're getting all the pot shards.
you are.
To make up for the fact that I never get them at any other time in history.
Man, I can't get no pot shards to get me potions to solo this place.
This is the first time I've ever gotten 2 pot shards on the same day.
Plus the guaranteed one, so you got 3.
Yes.
Yes.
Should give me a total of like 5.
Yeah, this place is stingy with butt shards for me.
Ugh.
But yeah, it's just it's I'm looking forward to it, and at the same time very apprehensive, and we'll get more reports back with good news or bad news as we go through it, and it will just it'll be an as we go thing that I report on as I play through. I don't have the time to sit down and mega womp it in a few weeks.
So unfortunately, we had to become adults.
Yes.
Well, it's more this is tax time than anything else. Yeah, you had this guy's dot on you. This guy's dot hurts.
It does.
You played a bard. You could have cleansed it.
Could have did with the power of Doots.
Do not underestimate the power of Duke.
Oh, we're open. Let's move on. I hate this floor set so much.
Why?
Who would do this, Chief?
Squeenix.
Great. Oh,
Yoshi
I should've
P
got off
hates
the
us.
platform. Man, I should have let that wear out before this, because now we're at the bipedal laser things that can shoot across 2 whole rooms.
Oh, those things. I heard you
What-
talk about them before.
No auto heal again?
Yeah. This
Is there
floor
like
set,
a higher chance of no auto
Yes.
heal on these floors?
yes, and it's a giant pain in the ass.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, so stay behind me. I gotta pull this set.
What's going to happen on the
carefully.
next floor set?
The debuff rate's actually way lower.
Oh, good.
We're not gonna make it past the 70s trash. The highest we could reasonably do with this, if we don't cock it up, is floor 70. We're not making it past the 70s trash.
Without a proper healer.
No, I mean I could probably solo a good chunk of it, but I'm gonna be running around trying to save you guys, and I'm gonna get myself killed.
Ah.
Like you're just gonna die. Everything about you. Unless you know how to dodge all the mechanics ahead of time, you just die in the 70 pluses in this place.
That sounds a little harsh.
It is quite tough.
I saw a thing going up saying that someone in Japan has managed to solo to 100 in Heaven on High with every class now.
Yep, somebody finally got the Astro.
That's
So
just
for
insane.
Yeah, Astro is incredibly difficult because the problem with soloing it as a healer is not the mechanics or anything, it's the time. You run out of time.
Yes.
Just can't do enough
Like-
damage.
Yeah. You have to get insanely lucky and use the bomb cheese strats to kill stuff. So somebody finally got it. Thanks,
Speaking
Fern.
of bombs,
Ah,
no auto heal. Congratulations.
no auto heal.
This is why we saved the Serenities.
Yeah. Because sometimes the game just says, screw
By
it.
the way, this guy can't be stunned, so please kill him before my Super Blade wears out.
Working on it.
Why would you Super Bowl?
Because I was at 2,000 HP, and he hits you for 2,000.
Super Blade is a bad button.
I mean, it only did 2,000 damage, and made me invulnerable to all his other attacks.
Alright. Anything else for your week?
There was. I'll talk about the Final Fantasy stuff. I'm just trying
Reading.
to also explain why this floor set is a pain in the butt. And trying to pull things when I've got 2 stacks of the bleed debuff very carefully. This floor set for these last few floors takes more brain work than you think, because I gotta try and think about what I want to pull.
We should be...
We're good.
We're good.
After we get the chest in here, we can move on.
Yep.
Okay, battle face. Okay. So,
Yep.
Where was I going? Final Fantasy. Yeah. So, did I cover everything with Crossbelt? Yeah, there's nothing there yet.
Where
I
are you
haven't gotten
going?
anywhere.
Yeah, the exit's
The wrong
other
way. The wrong way.
I was
Don't
wondering
worry,
where you were
can't read
going.
I can't read the map. Don't worry. This is why I don't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time, folks. Get in the hallway, so repops don't happen on us. Patrols are much less likely to repop. These guys are the only free mobs in this floor set. The Shabriris, they just have a very fast line AoE. Or cone AoE. Yeah, cone.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'll report more on the Crossbell games as I go through them. Next, Final Fantasy. Not a whole lot to talk about with the Final Fantasies. I haven't been doing my
the most
roulettes.
conspicuous swords on earth.
Yeah. Finally got my Ninja's Artifact weapon done. It had been practically done, I just had to do the last trial circuit. But finally did that this week. Let that thing get out of the corner.
It doesn't want to
Actually-
move.
The solution is gun.
Yeah. You can LOS them, they're just... There he goes.
There he goes.
You sometimes gotta really encourage them. Oh, we got extra... Thank you.
Oh,
Go ham, guys.
yeah, because of what's going on in that room over there.
Yeah, I don't want to fight that treasure room.
No. Pew 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 pew. Alright. Well, that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
And that's a mimic.
So, yeah, that is a mimic. Think these can be stunned? Yeah, they can be stunned.
Hmm.
Gold ones cannot be stunned, by the way. Okay, got some of our stuff refunded.
Yep.
So yeah, Final Fantasy. I finished my ninja's weapons. I would turn to a ninja and show you, but I can't right now. Didn't do a whole lot of roulettes. We did our weekly raids, and most of this week has just been kind of there. I played Holocure. I forgot about that.
Oh,
Fell
yes.
into Holocure, you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, it
that's,
is-
that's
it
how
is
that
a
game
good-
works.
Morning and a half for me. We got another auto heal disabled.
Why?
I told you this floor set's just a pain in the ass.
Yes, it is. So, have you played any of the new characters yet?
Yep, I played a good chunk of them. I played Fubuki, I played Mio, I played... who else did I play? I played Krone. I played Sora. I played... I got a Serenity that.
This floor's mean.
Yes, it is. And for that thing will do 3,000 damage per auto attack to you, just so you know. So you might not want to pull that, and if I'm not pulling it, there's a reason. And that reason was I was trying to let my health regen.
Yeah. Anyway, more
So,
Holocure.
Yeah, it's good. The updates have been. I'm not touching that. Fern, you go open it.
So we've all touched it and turned into a mimic.
Well, I was more concerned it would explode, and it does percentage damage off max HP, so it can kill you.
Yes.
So
Honestly, I think we're seeing more mimics than actual silver chests at this point.
they increase. They are directly proportional to the floor you're on. You will see more mimics as you go up.
Great.
I'm popping that
Alright.
because for the simple fact that one of you two is most likely to die, and I can solo the boss if we need to. So this should be the last one or two more. Stay in the hallway so we don't get sniped by the bipedal dudes, because there's a whole room of them in there, and I don't particularly feel like losing half my HP to out of combat mobs.
Yeah, they're kind of dicks like that.
Yeah, that's the other reason this floor set's a pain in the butt. Okay, we're good. No, we go. Dang it, we gotta get one more.
We got one more.
Please don't shoot me. Please
Is
don't
there
shoot
anything
me.
around
Please
this
don't shoot
corner?
me. Yeah, I'm pulling
Yeah.
something out. I'm fishing. Please don't shoot us. Please don't shoot us. Please don't shoot us. I forgot how much I have to pay attention on this floor set. Oh, good, gotta be kidding me.
Nope, not done yet.
These guys are easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, these guys don't really have anything.
Nice and straightforward.
They're double autoers, but at this level, double auto can't kill you, so it doesn't matter that much. So they're only a problem if you pull a bunch of them, and they all double auto at the same time.
Yep.
There's nothing you can do against that.
So, yeah. Anyway, Holocure, have you tried the new map?
Yeah. It's does not have an infinite y-axis, but its x-axis continues forever like the other map.
Yep.
There are many office pieces of furniture to get stuck on.
There's a TV that shows nothing but pure degeneracy.
Is this like
Yeah.
is it like the Office and Hologram?
Yeah. It is that office is the new stage. Like the little animations they do on Saturdays. That office?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's that office.
Okay.
So it just extends infinitely and doesn't loop, but semi randomizes. It
It's
looks like as it goes.
procedurally generated.
Yeah. And the objective is in this map. The way I found to handle it is to just pick a direction left or right, and keep walking until you get to a reasonably open space where you're not going to get trapped on crap.
Such a place does not exist.
There, you can find spots where it's fairly open. Of the new characters, Fubuki's my favorite. Fubuki is a character that increases her power based on her speed while you can strong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fubuki gets a lot of... she gets fast with her attacks.
Yeah, based
Really
on
fast.
her damage is proportional to her movement speed, and so increases to her movement speed increase her damage, and her basic weapon is her foxtail that she spins around herself, and when it's fully upgraded, it covers the entire zone around her.
Mm-hmm. And it's just constantly going.
Yeah, so she gets really powerful. What's in there? Fern Strong.
Strong.
Yeah, the next boss takes a lot of brain work, so the less time it's alive, the less I have to think.
Yep.
Oh no, I think I know which one that is.
It's
Ugh.
the staff one.
Yeah, I hate that one.
Ugh.
Let me grab the hat first. We got probably another patrol coming up behind us in a little bit here. Take a look behind us and see
Yeah,
if that's true.
he's coming slowly. He's in the other room
Yeah, we'll
now.
grab
Okay.
him next.
Grab him next.
But yeah, Fubuki, when you awaken her tail, also has a chance whenever it hits something to cause swords to come down and do an extra hit and crit.
Mm-hmm.
And her ultimate is just a storm of katanas all over the place, which is cute.
Yeah, and extremely effective.
Yeah. So I like Fubuki. She does feel a little overtuned. they have gone back and actually fixed a lot of the characters. Like Sana was pretty bad in the release I played,
I'd like
and
Sana.
she has since been patched to have her numbers be fixed and more of her passive skills apply to the. Yeah, that's why we try to avoid those.
Yeah.
Because we weren't even in combat yet, and he just blasted you guys for 3k damage.
Just stay away from me. I seem to be attracting those.
Yeah, well, they have a range of 2.5 rooms. Will not enter combat when they shoot you, and will just randomly pelt you while you're pulling other crap.
Yeah.
And then you have no auto heal on that floor set, and you see how bad this can go real fast.
Yaha.
Just periodically lose 3k HP when you can't auto heal. Okay,
It's,
fine. This boss.
What the hell is that?
You're gonna die.
Oh, great.
I mean, I'm just being straight with you. You're gonna die. So the boss will summon sticks. The sticks alternate doing donuts and line AoEs. I forget which one comes out first. They will alternate a pattern of donut, donut, line, line, and they will shoot in sequence like that. So she'll send out her sticks, and one set will appear, another set will appear, and they'll both be lines. She'll send out her sticks, one set will appear, another set will appear, and they'll be donuts, and they'll fire in sequence. And then she'll do them all at once. And there'll be lines and donuts.
Watch your step and prioritize staying alive over doing your rotation correctly. So long as you can keep putting out some damage, it's better than dying.
Okay, this is sounding like the sort of thing you really need to see in order to get a hang on it.
Yeah, it's a dance fight. You just keep dancing.
when you see her casting Ancient Flare, pop a DR cooldown. And use the Super Potion to offset that thing's damage. So, I'll have to put the week on pause until we beat the boss.
Yeah. No
Okay,
guarantee.
Okay, these are donuts. These are donuts. So, the first set will fire a donut, and then the next set will fire a donut.
Yep.
And the next ones will be lines.
You can dance if you want to. I am probably going to clown things up at some point in this fight.
Doesn't matter, I
Yeah,
can
I
follow it. It's fine.
I think I can solo it.
Oh, no, I'm in a bad place.
I didn't clown it at all. Haha.
There you go.
Oh, I clowned that.
Ah! Not a fan of this fight at all.
Got freaking lasers
Three
everywhere.
times.
I'm weaving food.
Alright. Donuts first? Yeah, donuts first.
Yep. And this is the whole fight. The problem is, when you're soloing her, this goes on forever.
Yeah, you've just got to maintain sort of iron concentration the entire time.
Like, the first 10 or so laps of it, not that bad. About lap 31, though, is when things start to make you fall asleep.
Yeah.
And now a whole bunch of lines. After Ancient.
Ah!
There we go.
That wasn't quite where I thought she was going to fire those.
No, you didn't get hit by the lasers. You just got hit by Ancient Flare.
Donuts. More donuts. Line.
Nearly there. Come on, fall over.
There she
Okay.
goes.
So, not a difficult boss, but one that's hard to describe, and you gotta pay attention the whole dang time.
Yeah.
So, okay. There's that floor set. Thank goodness that's over. Okay. All right, let's cash out our runs there. I think
All
got
right.
y'all some some EXP. Got us some progress on your 8th pool fern.
Quite a good amount
And,
of progress. As
Yeah,
well as,
we'll continue.
also
and,
treasure.
Yep. we can see what we got in the gold sacks.
Yep.
So, rest of my week. Final Fantasy, not a whole lot going on. Holocure. It's Holocure. I like all the updates. They tuned a bunch of the older characters that had problems, that just weren't very powerful, up to be reasonable. Things like Sana damage numbers now actually work. Mume's been toned down from her stupidly OP status down to merely kind of OP. And
still immortal.
Fauna is still pretty immortal, although they decreased her damage output a little bit, so that she can't, also kill the Yagus as they spawn the infinite Yagus. But the best change they made was the item called the Stolen Piggy Bank, a reference to Muna. Muna had a piggy bank, and Risu stole it during one of their live streams. And Risu just started taking all the Indonesian quarters out and started counting them on stream, and just to see how long it took Muna to realize that she had stolen her piggy bank. And Muna was also streaming at the time, and the stream of course informed Muna that Risu was counting her money. And Muna trying to break down the door to get into Risu's room because they live in the same house. Because she just stole Muna's piggy bank. And what this item does in game is every 1 second that passes after you take it, you gain 1 holo coin.
I see.
And it reduces your pickup range by 50% while you have it. So you have to get really up on items to pick them up. But just holding the piggy bank means you can unlock characters really fast as long as you take it early every single match, or every single round. And all you have to do to unlock the stolen piggy bank is to kill a new enemy that also makes coins come out way faster, called the Golden Yagu, which is a golden Yagu head with the stumpy legs and the arms that comes out and hops around really fast. And if you can kill him before he runs away off the screen, he'll drop a ton of holo coins and will unlock the stolen piggy bank for you.
I've only seen one of them spawn.
I've got one like every 3 runs. They're not super uncommon from my experience, but your mileage may vary.
Yeah.
But getting... So, yeah. But the upshoot of this is because of the stolen piggy bank and the golden Yagus, and the general increased rate of holocoin gain, because they also added passive gains to it, because it was really slow before. No idea. Go check the auction house.
That's where I'm off to.
It's the fishing pet, so I thought you might know.
No, I have no idea off the top of my head what any pets are worth.
Because you did an obsessive amount of fishing.
Yeah, I did not catch that, though. So, I got the Wind-Up Titan, which I think actually sells for quite a bit. But, yeah, the Holocure update is very good. All the new characters that I played so far have been fun. Mio's a lot of fun. Mio has... She throws tarot cards everywhere and has her little stand as her super. And once you awaken her basic attack, every attack she throws has a chance to pop up her little stand, and it'll do damage to everything around it, and it makes a big doomy RP noise, and all her stuff is...
When you say stand, what do you mean?
It's a
like
giant
JoJo
Minotaur.
stand.
The Hadator?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So it pops up behind her and just goes muda.
Yeah, it does a literal JoJo stand, aura.
Yeah, her kit is also all about reducing her ultimate's cooldown, so you're going to be auraing a lot.
Yeah, or making her very self-heal happy.
Yes.
Not as much as Fauna, but still a bit of self-healing in her kit too, to make her more sustainable, which is another thing they added. In the last update, Choco's horns were practically mandatory for any serious run on Endless Mode, because you just couldn't stay alive long enough without it. They've added a lot of self-healing to the characters' kits to offset this. All the new characters practically have some form of sustainability somewhere in their skill kit, if you want to take that instead.
Yeah, because otherwise it seemed to me like builds were basically limited, because you had to you had to take up certain slots for sustain if you wanted to play. You otherwise were just going to get worn down. There was nothing you could do about it. So
Yeah.
it really needed to be moved to the base kit. But doesn't that make the older characters kind of inferior for endless mode then?
The original batch of Hololive characters do feel like they're a step behind, but their numbers are so high that you can get around just still needing choker horns with those characters. And the game's not done yet. They may go back and add tweaks to those characters too. So they're still tweaking the older characters. Callie got her numbers overall jacked up because she was too reliant on her insta-death stuff, but her base numbers got pumped up. And I managed to clear the first stage as Callie as soon as I re-downloaded the new update. Because I lost all my progress, because I got a new PC. And this is not a Steam game where I can keep a Steam cloud save.
Yeah.
And I had no idea where I stuck it on that old external hard drive where I moved all my crap from my old PC. So, ooh, this hairstyle goes for a solid mil.
I didn't get anything worth anything. As usual. That's what I'm more or less accustomed to at this point.
So yeah. The update's pretty good. I like it a lot. It because there isn't very much to unlock other than making sure you've ticked off all the potential collabs that could pop or something. You can chew through the content about a day or two.
Nice.
And they've added new collaboration items where you can combine things like Krone's potato and Callie's microphone to make the rap dog. That
I
just
see.
makes you pulse out shockwaves to the beat of the music.
It's pretty nice.
Yeah, it's good stuff. They've also nerfed a lot of the old collabs. Like the BL book in Psycho Axe was mandatory. It was so powerful. If you were going for a serious high score run, they nerfed the damage on that considerably. It does way less now.
Oh, that makes me
So-
sad. I'm just looking
What?
at the duty support, and Horsefont is your tank in the vault.
Yeah.
He dies immediately after that.
It does give you the option for newer players who are just doing the story for the first time. It will give them the option to do a more sort of story immersive version of that sequence in the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like they've actually added a new section for that on the bridge, I think.
Man, look what they did to our boy.
Don't you, bro? So yeah,
Yeah.
that's HoloCure. And I don't really have any other video games or media to talk about. The rest of my week's been all work. I haven't done anything that's been time consuming really. I've just been working and doing taxes, and I hate the government. Oh, the Minecraft server. There is a bit going on in the Minecraft server, but not a whole lot much more beyond digging a hole and Abo doing ridiculous builds and me coming back at like 8 o'clock in the evening and seeing he's had way too much free time.
He's dug another hole.
No, he's been building crap. He's got like a mansion
Get a
and
job.
he's got like a mansion and stuff, and I'm like, dang, dude, I'm still digging my hole.
It is a nice hole.
Yeah, we should totally show off the hole at some point. Hopefully, Fern can get on and play with us,
Hopefully.
and we'll have some stories of his supervillain lair and the things that I will do behind his back and make his Minecraft life very interesting.
You will go into my supervillain lair and dig a hole.
I'll probably make a fishing hole inside your villain lair, and you won't know why.
Please don't.
It's just like Fern's like, oh no, there's going to be an Ari fishing inside my villain lair. It's going to ruin the vibe.
Yeah.
Don't think I can be bothered. Because I always end up building incredibly vast underground complexes that I then get lost in and can't find the way out.
You should make the bunkeroni.
I'm gonna go do this.
But if you want to play with us on the Minecraft server, download AT Launcher and then come find me.
All right, yeah, Crony is one of my people, isn't she?
Yeah.
Always goes below ground and never comes up for air.
Yeah, she made the bunkeroni, and then the rest of Team Snot happened to it.
All right.
Why they always pick on Crony so much?
What do you see in the raw rabbit in Minecraft?
I've never thought about it. I have to say.
Because I had to dig through the comments to see what they thought it was, because I thought it was just like a butt. It was this is an old internet, but apparently if you look at it the right way, you see Goatsy.
Huh?
I don't want to look at it the right way then. In fact, I think that may in fact be the wrong way.
Why am I not able to do anything?
I'm attempting to find a picture of the raw rabbit.
Oh, duh. I need Kabi. There you go. Now I can Dreadworm.
Yeah, that's why I got sick of it. Every time I went to do anything, I'd be like, oh, I don't have Kabi and I've already started the fight. Now I have to stand here getting beaten up while I try and summon Kabi.
At least Kabi's an instant cast now. He didn't used to be. You used to stand there for about 10 seconds and squiggle in your book until Kabi turned up.
So yeah, that's everything for my week. I ain't got much.
I don't really watch any of Crony's content, but I hear she's on a Subway arc at the moment.
Oh, with Subway sandwiches?
Well, they were sandwiches.
Okay.
I don't watch any of Crony's actual content. She works better with a group when she can be the one that's getting beaten up by everybody.
It just makes me feel bad for her. I guess that's what most of her fans are like, though. That they sympathise with her more than anything else, because she's always being picked on by the others.
Like, Crony's lot in life is to be bullied. It's what she's good at.
But yeah, apparently the current arc is that she's developed an obsession with eating Subway.
I heard she got sick with one.
No, it was not that she got sick. It was that she decided to make Subway into a drink.
What?
Oh.
Do I even want to know how you drink a sandwich?
Yeah, with the food processor.
Oh no.
So apparently this has become a famously cursed stream. But when somebody embarks upon this cycle of self-destructive behaviour, they need help.
You need to take the food processor away from them.
Yeah. I have been watching a good amount of Hololive just because I'm too tired after work to process very much. And most of this week I'd be, especially after a big day of doing taxes, I'd be like, I'll just turn on some Hololive. And I found a new clip channel that not a new clip channel, I've linked them before, but I hadn't subscribed to them yet. But they're really good. And they did like a whole, for the Rust stream, they did their breakdown of it, and for the section about cannibalism, they turned it into a whole podcast with little cutout figures.
I remember that, seeing that, how that played out. I haven't seen the clip version.
I'll link the timestamp to it in the full video and drop it in live show chat. But I really enjoy the way this guy does clips.
How cursed is it?
It's pretty good. It's Team Snot without the T, because Crony isn't there. Snot is shark, nature, owl time.
I just have this constant feeling like Fauna's hiding her power level somehow.
Well, she doesn't have any teeth. She has teeth. She was just born out the womb with all the teeth she has. She's never eaten human flesh. Never bit her lip, never bit her nails. On purpose. Oh yeah.
Because it doesn't count. It doesn't count if somebody sneaks it into your food.
Yeah.
What?
However, she did clarify for us and to Mume that auto-cannibalism is still cannibalism. The way she says it in the video, like, auto-cannibalism is still cannibalism, Mume, is the funniest thing in the world.
Yeah, well, I mean, this is why I watch so much of Fauna's content compared to the others in the council generation. Is that she's just convinced she's hiding her power level because she manages to almost unflappably keep her Fauna persona intact, but can say the most outrageous things without breaking character.
Yeah. My favorite bits are the simple bits with Fauna, where Mume just is like, it totally still counts as cannibalism. Fauna's just like, no. And anytime Mume comes up with a retort, Fauna's just like, no.
Cows have babies too.
This sounds just incredibly, incredibly unwholesome.
Well, Mume and Fauna have a dynamic of Fauna is like the mom talking to her idiot daughter about everything. And she has this tone the whole time, even if what Fauna is saying is equally or even stupider than what Mume has said.
But she says it in the matter-of-fact way of a mother dispensing wisdom.
Yeah.
Even if it's just like completely absurd. It's like, no, this is the truth of the world.
Like,
but they're both also the characters that they are both dichotomous characters. Like Mume is supposed to be sort of the cute innocent girl, but she's also essentially an eldritch horror. Fauna by contrast is like the nurturing mother figure. However, she is also nature red in tooth and claw.
Deeply concerned.
watch the clip I linked, or the timestamp I linked in that video after the show in live show chat. A lot will be clarified about the Mume Fauna dynamic. And then Gura's also there. Gura just is there and getting lit on fire in the background.
It's what she do.
The streams that have both Mume and Gura in them are quite confusing, though.
At least when I ever think I'm bad at Minecraft, I can take comfort in knowing that these girls exist.
Well, Gura's definitely worse at Minecraft. Ina is a low level genius at Minecraft, or at any rate, she has the patience to appear like one. And Fauna's apparently pretty good at it as well, although I don't watch Minecraft streams generally.
Yeah, the best crazy Minecrafter is Muna from ID. Her builds are like on the level of showcased by other YouTube channels nuts. That
the
she does.
ID server is a little bit crazy.
Yeah, their Minecraft server, and apparently like most of it is Muna, and she's just that autistic.
I think every server is like that, though. Like, every Minecraft server is like that, where there is this one person on the server who does the stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, she has just their subway tunnel. You see Girl walk into it, and she's like, "Oh my god, how did you have the time to do this?"
Right, anyway, before Fern has to run away, I don't know, Fern's schedule's going to get squeezed at this rate.
We should.
Still have to email.
We should get a move on.
From Sarah.
We also have an email.
Oh, we do?
So, yeah. We do.
Right, I just need to move this to my main monitor so that I can look straight at it instead of looking off to the side away from my microphone. I presume Ari's week is finished at this point.
Yeah. I was
Yeah.
not intentionally stretching, but we were tangenting.
We were.
Right, so this email is from Serithus. Dear No Excuses. So, cyanide and mining. This is a very sore topic here in Hungary. In 2000, a mine in Romania, or was the Romanians, had a dam burst that flooded around 100 tons of cyanide. The entire ecosystem of our second largest river was practically deleted. Even in Serbia, aquatic life was decimated, in addition to contaminating the water supply. Possibly the largest environmental disaster since Chernobyl. Rammstein even wrote a song about the spill. Donaukinder. They got the river wrong, but points for trying. Apparently, Genshin Impact is getting an anime. I think the only way it can be true to the source material is if you have to buy the episodes in loot boxes. Get a duplicate episode? Too bad. Maybe you get some behind-the-scenes stuff or a desktop background or a ringtone. Nier Automata is also getting an anime, so I guess you'll have to watch it 5 times with a different ending to get the tiniest sense of just what is going on. However, the only thing that I remember from the 2B Butt simulator is the Simone de Beauvoir robot. One of the most notorious feminist philosophers who embodied everything her ideology stands for by doing the mother of all projections, when literally the status man outside royalty only kept her as a side chick and didn't wife her up. She thought to herself, that perfectly describes male-female interactions everywhere. At least she didn't do a Margaret Atwood and turn her rape fantasies into a manifesto.
Oh, no.
As far as my newfound boomer shooters go, I have finished the first two episodes of Hrot. The devs behind this game looked at Quake 1 and thought to themselves, too many colours! So they removed the brownish grey, brownish green and brownish blue, sticking with regular brown. The number of health pickups can be counted on 2 hands, at least early on. Sometimes objects can just come back to life and attack you. The bosses are reanimated monstrous corpses of Czechoslovak communist leaders. All the enemies wear gas masks and you start out in a shelter in the Prague metro, so I guess there was a nuclear war. But there are trains and cars running around, so maybe there wasn't. There is even less storytelling than Doom. I haven't the slightest idea what is going on in this game at all. But it is fun if you like this kind of setting. Eon of Ruin and Dread Templar still look generic. P.S. He's linking another denunciation of feminism, as though anybody needs to denounce feminism anymore.
So, going down the list, I do remember something about that cyanide in the river thing, but it was...
I don't remember ever hearing about it. This is the first that I've heard about. I mean, it's not like I know much about Eastern Europe.
Yeah, I do remember hearing something about it in high school.
I'm American.
Yeah, if you're American, then literally the rest of the world doesn't exist.
From memory, though, I think it was more in the context of Rammstein wrote a song about it rather than, oh no, think of the fishes.
That's freaking catastrophic. It's kind of appalling that I haven't heard of it. I think it's something that more people should probably have heard of. Maybe everybody does know except me. I don't know. But yeah, I blame the gypsies. Because we need to get demonetized.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
We're fine. You didn't target the other big noses.
I didn't target an actual protected group. I targeted the group that nobody wants to protect for some reason.
Oh boy. Anyway, Genshin Impact anime. Honestly, that business model sounds so likely. I'm surprised I haven't done it yet.
I'm sort of interested as to how it will go. Like, I mean, sometimes you get good anime out of gacha games. It happens. Most people in the Fate fandom are too fussy, so they don't like the Babylonia anime. I really liked the Babylonia anime. It's got a lot of problems, to be sure, but I enjoyed it very, very much. I've watched it many times. I have it on Blu-ray. The Princess Connect anime, I enjoyed that very much as well, both seasons. I thought it was great. I would love to get it on Blu-ray if they ever distribute it, because the amount of sort of action and colour and animation frames and so on is so high that most stream services collapse under the effort of trying to deliver that bitrate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's Konosuba, but even more colourful.
There was, I forget what it was actually called, but there was that anime a few years back, which was allegedly anyway, a gacha tie-in anime, but all they did was meme on gacha games.
Yeah, I remember that one. I've never even seen the gacha game that it
oh yeah, I don't think it ever escaped Japan, but
it was curious. Because it's like gacha is literally a mechanic in this fantasy setting, and you have to wait for someone to come along and then roll your precious resources on the gacha to get yourself out of combat trouble.
Yeah, and even odds the person who pops up is just going to take a look at what you're doing and say, no, this is dumb, and leave.
Why are you ruining our live show chat, Aristotle?
It was plenty ruined already.
I just felt the need to spread the word of Kuka. Since we were talking about the Fight Code anime.
But yeah, so you do occasionally get really good stuff out of gacha, but Genshin Impact, like, I mean, MiHoYo hasn't made one yet. They've got a lot of good material. I mean, MiHoYo just makes solid gacha games. It's just a pity that they're gacha games, because, you know, if Genshin Impact was a real game instead of a gacha game, I would have thrown money at it. If Honkai Third was a real game instead of a gacha game, I would have thrown money at it. But I just don't want to get hooked into another gacha. It's as simple as that. Having two is bad enough, even if one of them is only a can game. But yeah, the story, the world, and the story which take place within it have a lot of breadth to them. So there's a lot of material to work with. It's just, I feel like gacha is gacha moving out of the realm of like where it's just preying on idiots who play Peggle is real tragedy for the games industry, I think, because it's just it sort of consumes and infects things that would otherwise be good, and creates a generation of people who are psychologically conditioned, either willingly or against their will, to think that it's a good thing on some level,
or think that it's normal and that this is how all things should be because that's how they've always been after a while.
Yeah.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And there's so many that are so great. Like one of my friends was rhapsodizing to me about how great Punishing Grey Raven was yesterday, and how awesome the music was, and how awesome the characters were. And it's like, yeah, that's all good, but I just don't want to get attached to another one of those systems. It's not about whether the game is good or not. In fact, it might be worse if the game's good. Because I'll have to suffer. Firstly, I'll suffer if I get attached to it and then end up playing another gacha game. And secondly, I'll suffer if it's good and I realise that I can't enjoy it because that would involve getting attached to another gacha game and I don't want to do that. So, yeah, I wish it wasn't a thing.
Yeah, and most of them are just... They don't have Cygames level of generosity, so there's an extra level of stress when it comes to setting up for rolling for future stuff, especially if you can see the future. And it seems like all the decent gachas come out with the servers behind in the US, so we can see the future. And unless you're going to give me enough resources to be able to spark whatever comes out when I need it, I just don't want that level of stress in my life.
Yeah, it's not good. It's not good at all. Like, I'm willing to forgive FGO because it belongs to an older generation. Like, in addition to it being from my favourite franchise, it belongs to an older generation. It's not like it came along after the standard was set and decided to be greedier. That's not how they operate. However, Genshin did. Genshin did come out after what is considered to be, pretty decent. It came out later and then was still incredibly stingy. And more to the point, it hitched a huge amount of power to dupes. That's the thing that really got me about it. I would have been able to tolerate everything else, but the amount of raw character power that was attached to getting dupes is too much for me.
And it's little things. It's whole mechanical changes that some characters don't function without their second or third constellation tier.
Like, I mean, I talked earlier in the show about wanting to roll for another copy of Space Ishtar, but that's 100% like, I have Space Ishtar and I want to min-max for performance on Space Ishtar for this particular purpose, and so I am going to invest in this. This is not like basic functionality is locked behind getting a dupe.
Yeah.
I really, really don't approve of that. I understand the impulse to try and make people feel less bad when they get a dupe, and to some extent adding power will do that, but it will also just inversely add frustration when you don't get as many dupes as you feel you need in order to maximize a character economically. And like in the case of FGO, you get a small amount of additional Noble Phantasm effectiveness, which declines over time. So if you really do want to shoot for an extra rank of NP, then you can choose to do that, and it's not going to... It's going to give you a reasonable amount of oomph early on, but the benefit for going full whale is actually really, really low. They could have gone greedy and just made it, plus 100% at each rank, which would have obliged an awful lot of people to save for specific servants and gotten an awful lot of whales to spend an awful lot of money, but they didn't do that. But they effectively did do that in Genshin, because there'll be some optimal level, which might be one additional one, or it might be 5, where you basically have to, if you want to make that character your main. I really, really don't like that. I think that there's a little bit of sort of the opposite effect in Pinecone, in that getting a dupe does nothing of note.
You get shards now, at least.
Yeah, you do get shards, but that's shards are kind of trivial, really. Like they aren't really worth much. But the flip side of that is because you get enough jewels, you don't feel absolutely gutted when you get a dupe. Usually, I don't know. Maybe some people do, but yeah, but these things are just minutia. The big problem with gacha is a thing. It's just that I feel like Genshin is one of the worst of them, and I don't really want to get involved in that. But I mean, I would love to play their other games as well, and I'd love to play these new ones because I mean, they do have great people doing art in these games. They do have great composers making awesome music for these games, but I really want to get attached to it. Like, there's a lot of music in FGO that I really like. The music in Arknights is famously good as well. Mm-hmm. There's just a lot of quality, like really quality game content in these games, but they're all attached to this parasite.
Like, could you imagine if some of these games were just standalones?
Well, yeah, like I said, I would be happy to throw money at them. I really would.
Oh yeah.
Like you could get me you could get me to probably even pay a subscription to something like Genshin Impact.
There's so much stuff to find in that world. It could just keep you entertained for hours just wandering around it.
Yeah, but I don't like the spectre of gacha hanging over me. It's because I feel like I'm doing something wrong all the time.
Mm.
It's a sort of low level anxiety that it imposes on everything. Maybe there are people who just don't feel that. They don't worry at all about what characters they're playing or what's coming in the future or how to prioritize use of their resources. Maybe it's just all easy come, easy go, and they're all free to play with whatever trash they happen to pull on their free pulls that happen once in a while. But I don't really like that feeling like I really like using this character, but it's like horribly suboptimal compared to what it could be type of thing.
Yeah, or it's horribly suboptimal, but if you pay more, it couldn't be.
Yeah, that's the problem. I don't want that feeling hanging over me. And there are lots of games like that. Like, everybody says, for instance, that Honkai 3rd is an extremely good action game. Like, it's just really, really fun to play. But it's brutally hooked up to the gacha machine. It might even be something like, I've heard people compare it to sort of like Devil May Cry. So there's a huge audience there of people who would like to be able to play that kind of thing, but the gacha thing is radioactive. You don't want to get attached to that. It's too dangerous. I heard the story is great and the music is great too, but it's gacha. It's gacha. In the end, the gacha is a deal breaker for a lot of things. I just wish it wasn't there. Yeah. I wish they could just come up with an alternative scheme. Like there are lots of games in the past that have had more than one payment scheme, but now everything in these games is gacha, and they're sopping up all of this great talent, all this great development talent, all this great game creation talent. It's all getting sopped up into this evil, infernal engine, which basically just serves to crush people to squeeze money out of them. Anybody want to talk about boomer shooters? I don't think that there's anybody in the world who produces as much boomer shooter content as Serathis. Like he talks about them in every email that he sends. And even if I was really into boomer shooters, I don't think I could keep up with the number of mods that he tries.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of content there if you're into it.
Yeah, I enjoy the occasional boomer shooter, maybe once-ish a year, and then and that's usually a token playthrough where I usually don't finish. But I can understand their appeal. It's just not what I'm into.
Yeah, I usually play the same ones over and over again. Like, I will go back and play, Doom, Episode 1, Knee Deep in the Dead again, or something like that. I know that it's moved on. Life has changed, but I can go back and remember playing that on the school computer, the one computer in the school that I went to.
I'll admit though,
1991 or whatever it was.
Yeah, the idea of Quake with less colours though is pretty horrifying.
I can't actually imagine that. Like,
no, I'm just imagining a brown screen. You just have to guess
that's what Quake was.
I guess the water was often green and there was blood in various places.
Well,
and sometimes there was lava too.
Yeah, the lava was somehow brown too.
Like that really retarded first boss, which didn't make any sense because you didn't actually fight it. You just ran around in a circle and it died.
Run around, push buttons.
Yeah.
I just clowned up the final boss of the vault because I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
Are you doing a trust dungeon, Fern?
Yeah, I just felt like just throwing in here and seeing old Horsefront again, minutes before his death scene.
Man, and done a lot of duty support vault runs.
That this should push me over to level 59.
There have to
Yeah,
be more
we should-
efficient ways of doing that. It stops at 57. Like the
We've
duty
gotta-
support stops at 57.
Yeah. We should get your Dark Knight to 61 first, so that you have a different role to play. Because right now you only have deeps.
I do only have deeps. I do also have Scholar, technically. I don't have any gear to put on him, so Scholar would be naked. But
I like Scholar, but everybody says that Sage is categorically better. Like
I-
to play. I haven't unlocked it yet because I don't want to dump all that extra crap into my bags.
Sage does look... Oh, Final Fantasy just crashed.
So I'm gonna wait until Astrologian gets to 70, I think, and then I'll just have them share gear.
Yeah.
Oh. You ready to feel mad jelly, Fern?
Oh no. What have you done?
Look at live show chat and my picture of my armory chest.
I'm
look at
fine.
how-
Empty. So empty.
Look at how clean it is.
Oh, what is this nonsense?
Look
Mine
at
is
it.
full of trash.
Mine
Some of
is...
it I can't even equip.
I still got like 10 Eureka shirts in
I
mine.
wonder if any of these I actually don't need. There might even be some stuff I don't need in here. Oh no, it looks like all of it is of a level that it could be at some point useful in the future.
Yeah. Anywho,
Theoretically.
thank you for the email service.
Indeed.
All right. News. News.
What have you
Let's-
got for me?
Before we jump into the news, I want to bring up one thing that is currently going on from somebody we've given on and off updates about for a while. Nicky Rackets, guy
Nick
that
Recato?
was the guy that was primarily responsible for the Vic Mignogna stuff going on that we followed and covered quite a bit, was temporarily, permanently. I know, I'm aware of the contradiction. Don't worry about it. Banned from YouTube. However, because of this, and because of what happened, it was Keffels again. Of course, it was Keffels. Keffels had a bunch of people go send false bar complaints to Nikki. And Nikki read them redacted on YouTube and then said, you know what, because you made this my public property, I'm going to publish it on my locals page unredacted. And got a whole lot of really funny responses to that, with people going, oh, please, didn't know what I was doing, I'm so sorry. After all of a sudden he's about to dump all their public complaints on his profile, on his locals page, because they're his property now, he can do whatever he wants with them.
Yeah.
You idiots gave it to him, legally.
Yeah, he's like, you guys just doxed yourselves. I hope you're proud.
Yeah, and a whole lot of people got upset about that and went and cried to YouTube about it. And they struck Nick Recato for threats, harassment, and doxing, and deleted his whole channel.
But they doxed themselves. They didn't do that.
He's a lawyer, and he has a legal strat, and got YouTube to unban his channel. But he said that only clips and smaller content will be going on YouTube for now, and all the big streams with all the special guests will be on his Rumble channel now. So you can go look up. It's not hard to find Nicky Rackets on Rumble right now. He's the biggest channel on the website.
Yeah, I saw Odyssey was actually using it to promote themselves as well.
Yeah.
They were like, look at what YouTube did to Nick Recato, and he's been building up an audience on Odyssey because we won't do that to him.
We will not screw him.
Yeah. Rackets has really exploded since we started covering him back when he was a small channel with the Vic stuff, and then that blew up. And now he got featured in the mainstream news with his reaction video to the Kyle Rittenhouse prosecution being pants on head retarded.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's a big boy. And YouTube shot his channel down, and they deserve all the backlash they get. And quite honestly, Keffels deserves everything he got too out of this, where he takes yet another
People
L.
deserve so much more.
Yeah, Keffels is one of, if not the worst human beings on the internet. And he I have no sympathy for any of these people that got doxxed. In fact, I don't even think doxing is that bad, TBH. Like, what are you going to do when you
Well,
get
yeah,
somebody's arrested?
doxing is one of those things where the actual crime is committed by somebody else.
Yeah, doxing is a non-factor for me. If you dox somebody, I'm like, okay. I mean, I hang out on a website that's not Vault's not allowed to go to by his own government, so you know where my position is on that.
The thing with doxing is that doxing is sort of like it's a very theoretical crime in a lot of ways. Like for the left, which controls the institutions, the reason that they hate doxing is because they know what they would do. They know how they would use that information, and they fear it being used against them like that. Whereas the perspective from the right is that doxing doesn't mean anything, because in the world that operated the way the right wanted to, law enforcement would come down like a ton of bricks on anybody who did anything illegal with that information. So the information itself doesn't really matter. The problem is that that's not how the real world operates. The real world operates where the institutions are abused to crush people who dissent.
Yeah, and if you're in the U.S., unless you show up with an organized group, you're fighting an uphill battle. If you show up at somebody's address to cause trouble. Because most states...
if you're really unlucky, you might be fighting a very, very short battle if you show up unannounced to someone's house trying to cause trouble.
Yeah, if you showed up to my house, for example, you wouldn't be causing trouble for very long.
I wouldn't show up to your house if I was a Mormon.
I have bitten perfectly polite little deranged people that have come up to my door to be very nice to me and tried to sell me on a crazy religion built up by a crazy cult leader.
Oh boy.
Like, that's the softer end of my responses if I don't like you.
It's a good
let's
thing we're
move
not
on to another
monetized.
topic before Fern bruises his face from face palming.
So yeah, I just wanted to get it out there that that's where you can find Rackets at now. He's not the sharpest tool in the shed on all his stances, I don't think, but he's seems like decent people to follow right now. It hadn't gone to his head yet, so I'll keep supporting Rackets till he goes off the waterfall.
Hopefully he doesn't.
I'm mixing euphemisms. Anyway.
Yes, you are. So, see. How
we
much...
got a follow-up from last week's news as well that we should probably tap real quick.
All right, tap away.
From last week's news, me and Vol talked about how we were sad, or how I was sad, that Chaos Head wasn't going to hit Steam. Steam changed their mind.
Yay!
Chaos Head is coming to Steam now.
Is there any actual reason or process behind this?
I couldn't make heads or tails of the statement when I read it. It, quote, Valve's content review team, the group that made the original decision, has re-examined Chaos Head Noah and decided to reverse course and allow the game to ship on Steam as is.
Has re-examined potential profits from allowing Chaos Head to ship on Steam.
There you go.
Yeah. We've also examined the process that led to this previous decision about Chaos Head Noah and made some changes to avoid situations like this in the future. Now, that could mean a whole lot of things. What I hope it means is probably not what happened, but I can hope. And that they finally found the guy that has a bias against old anime VNs and sacked him.
Yeah.
Because old anime VNs specifically, even in their censored versions, were just getting node on Steam sometimes, and Chaos Head was the latest victim.
This has been going on for a long time, too.
Yeah. So, all that stuff was said about Chaos Head last week still stands. It's still a piece of VN history, and that's the beginning of the massive juggernaut that is Science Adventure. It's fairly...
Is it still readable?
I don't know. It has been so long since I've read it. I would have to go through and see if it still holds up. But I remember liking it way back in the day. So whether
everybody knows, way back in the day, Self was a retard. Like that's true for everybody, basically.
Yeah. So approach it with that information in mind. It's about the best I can give you. I don't plan on rereading it because VNs are a huge time commitment of like 30 hours. And that sounds about right for Chaos Head from memory.
I think that my copy of Fate Stay Night has a run time of it has been up as the active application for I think 7 days.
Yeah, it's like 80 to 100 hours of raw reading at minimum in the original Fate Stay Night. So yeah, just wanted to give an update on that. They have reverse course, so we're getting Chaos Head. Yay!
Nice.
Check it out if that kind of thing is interesting to you.
All right. How much did you talk about Stadia last week?
We laughed at it.
Ah, excellent.
And mainly at Google's total incompetence and inability to understand what it is that people actually want.
Yep. So it actually gets worse too.
They found ways to get worse.
Oh, they did. The developers who have been, signing contracts even to the week before Stadia's shutter were signing new contracts to go and develop for the Stadia.
Well, they don't have any internal communication at Google.
Nope, they found out at the same time the general public did.
Fantastic. I'm hearing more and more of that kind of bullshit, though.
Yeah.
About, major announcements that affect the livelihoods of people are being made functionally online in, public venues instead of to the staff.
Yes. The people who are most affected by it and have the most reason to file class action against you.
Yeah, there was a real big one a while back with one of those sort of boutique custom PC manufacturing places.
That
was
was
a really big one.
The whole I'm drawing a blank on the name, but the one that detonated his channel on YouTube.
Pardon?
There's the one that
Artisan Builds.
Yes, that's the one.
Yeah. They did the same thing basically.
They did a lot wrong.
They did every conceivable thing wrong, but opinions from industry commentators is that the situation was salvageable if the main guy running the thing hadn't been a complete tool whose objectives had nothing to do with success for the business and everything to do with becoming an e-celeb.
Yeah. Problem is though, everything about him was a tool.
He just seems incredibly skeevy. Really, this guy has sleazebag written all over him.
Yeah, well, the whole thing with Artisan Build started when he was caught on live stream drawing a prize and for a new PC build to smaller streamers, and the lady who won it was only very, very small. She only had
this is not going to get me any clout.
Exactly, more or less, word for word. That's what he said, and then redrew. Because she only had a couple of hundred followers.
I think the rationale that he claimed he had was that, this person's too small, they're just going to stop streaming as soon as they've got this prize. Doesn't
matter, that's not how these competitions work.
Well, his argument was that he's the one holding the competition, so he can do as he pleases.
Yeah, right.
And technically speaking, if it's all done off the books informally, without terms and conditions agreements to bind the parties involved, then that may in fact be the case. However, you're going to scupper your entire business in the process.
Yeah. Instead, he still managed to scupper his entire business.
Well, yeah.
So that was fun.
Freaking clown. But yeah, they also when he, it's more that he folded the business rather than it folded. Like if he'd been a competent businessman, he could have salvaged the situation. But he was another one of those who announced that everybody in his company had lost their jobs publicly.
Yes.
Without any warning.
Didn't he do it on Twitter?
I think he did. But that's the popular way to do this these days, apparently.
Yeah, you just dump it on Twitter and walk away like you're getting out of a bad relationship. So yeah, incidentally, there's a few very good videos on YouTube that sum up the entire Artisan Builds fiasco, and go watch them.
Fiasco is about the best word.
Yeah, go watch them because it's an absolute hoot, honestly, at the end of the day.
I really feel bad for the people that were employed there, though, because it seems like for most of them that was probably like the job of their dreams type of things. They love building computers and they get to do it.
Yeah, they got to build really cool rigs. Thankfully, there was no backlash on the lady who won the prize in the first place, and a bunch of other build companies actually came forth and built her an even better rig.
Well, I mean, this is just a marketing opportunity for them.
Like,
good guy intentions aside, when you do that sort of thing, it's just going to work out well for you PR wise.
Yeah, that is just a very solid PR move, and you get to do something nice for someone in the process. Win-win.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins except for Artisan Builds.
Yeah, well, I mean, I just hope that clown gets what's coming to him.
Sounds like he had it coming.
Oh, he did. It wasn't the first
Yeah,
time.
he's now ground zero for a rash of lawsuits, I gather.
Yeah, I think he might be. So, anywho. So, yeah,
Google.
Google. So, yeah, you've got all these developers who are kind of out of luck. And, yes, there was even one developer who signed a contract with Google a few days before they shuttered it.
Didn't the same thing happen with the PSP recently?
Oh, the Vita, you mean?
Yeah, when they announced that they were going to shut the
There was
store
all
down,
kinds of...
and there was a whole bunch of developers who were already like in the midst of online store only projects for the Vita.
Yeah, it was a lot of Kickstarters too that had like stretch goals of a Vita version that were still in development when the Vita store got announced it was being shuttered rather abruptly.
There were a lot of them that they had already gotten their publication to the Vita store agreed with Sony, and then Sony just announced, "Oh, and we're closing it now." By the way,
Yeah. Thankfully, for the bigger name games at least, they're already starting to come out with ways to migrate your save data. Destiny 2 being the big one, as well as Elder Scrolls Online.
yeah, whatever else you say about Destiny 2, they really do seem to be the masters of cross-platforming.
Yes. So I don't think it's going to be a huge deal to migrate your account over for those who are affected. But yeah, I'm still amazed that everyone at Google is still surprised by the shuttering of Vita. They're like, oh no, who could have seen this
I
coming?
mean, Stadia.
Well, Stadia, yeah. So, yeah, it's been an absolute circus, and I love it.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel I feel bad for the people who are on the project, but it's not run by competent people, and that always ends up being the issue. Like I said last week, they were not selling to an audience that exists. All of the people who want to play a game hardcore want to have their own hardware to play it on. It's as simple as that. There's no audience for that service. If the service was like a subscription service, where you are just going to get some games for a fee for as long as you want to keep the fee up, like they do with the Microsoft deal, then, well, you could make that work, but you can't sell people full price games and then not give them full price games. And if you sell people full price games, the people that are buying them are people who are gamers and have gaming hardware.
Yeah. But there is one silver lining, I suppose, is probably where Stadia really found its niche was with actual development. While everyone's working from home during the COOF, they were able to use Stadia technology to basically work on the same live build across the company. Which is a fantastic use of the software, which has also gone poof. So, yeah, we shall see. Alright. Apparently, I don't know anything about the next article, but have you guys looked into Overwatch 2?
I have not looked directly at it, much as one might not look directly at the sun for fear of being burned.
The sun might be calling it too high praise. I'm saying so you don't want to look directly at a festering wound.
Yeah, it's gross. It's a grotesque thing, and everything about it just looks like a terrible version of Overwatch 1, to be honest.
It does.
Which is the reverse of what they were hoping for.
Now, I'm just touching up on this myself, but apparently, in order to get into the game, you needed to provide a real-world phone number to them.
Yeah, I saw that.
Blizzard have always been flirting with this kind of thing. I don't know what it is, their particular preoccupation with it.
Yeah.
I could genuinely see these crazy California devs believing that maybe if we attach a real-world verification thing to it, it'll cut down on what they consider toxic behavior.
Well, Blizzard tried to do that years ago at the onset of Battle.net's kind of unification.
Real ID!
Real ID!
Yeah, and
that was it.
People were like, oh, by the way, gaming's still stigmatized in my business, and if you dox me, then I'm going to lose my job or lose credibility in the industry I'm in.
Yep. And that's actually kind of still the case. Not as bad as it used to be, but still.
I don't
happens.
think I'm capable of being even generous enough to think that that's their objective. It just seems to me like they know that information is equivalent to power and therefore money, and the more information they can gather on everybody involved, the more power they have. They may not have a use for it right now, but they might at some point in the future, and they want that for when they do.
Even if they don't, they can sell it.
Yeah, I'm not willing to trust Blizzard with anything anymore. Like, they just demonstrated long ago that they were scum, and it's becoming more and more evident over the course of time just how scummy they are. And a couple of well-meaning developers does not offset the fact that they are run by people who are scum.
Yeah. So I'm just staying well away from Overwatch 2. Like, they're doing scummy things like sticking their new characters behind the battle pass and stuff like that.
This PC has never had the Blizzard launcher on it, and I don't see any reason why it will.
Oh, that's a great thing you pointed out. This PC doesn't have the Blizzard bloatware on it.
Neither does mine.
I mean, it's never had it on it. It's great. Oh, it's lovely. I just realized this is also true for me, and this makes me happy.
Alright. So, yeah, that's an ongoing dumpster fire. I don't want to get too involved in Overwatch 2.
Well, I sort of just want to write Blizzard off as no longer existing and not worth my concern.
Yeah, but they keep doing stuff that's just so stupid. You've got to talk about it.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've announced that the new Diablo is going to be another Battle Pass game. Like, Battle Passes are like... I categorize them as sort of like... They are a species of being which is of the same sort of tier as gacha games, like the gacha mechanic. The Battle Pass mechanic is another one of these types of creatures, and it's another corrosive game element designed to wring money out of people and not to improve their experience in any way.
Yeah. Alright. Next little bit of news. We got the trailer for the Mario movie.
Not as bad as I thought it would be.
I was
Still
honestly...
Hollywood.
Yeah,
I've watched part of it without sound. That's the most that I've seen of it.
Yeah. Like, I was expecting it to be a lot worse, but Jack Black does a passable Bowser, and that's fine. He's maybe a little bit...
I won't be happy until Mario sounds Italian.
Well, Charles Martinet is still in there. So you are probably going to get So Long Gay Bowser in there somewhere. But, I don't know. It's hard to pin down, but...
He's being played by Chris Pratt, though.
Yes.
Like,
which means you're almost certainly going to get So Long Gay Bowser in there.
I don't have faith in the movie industry to produce a good Mario movie. Like, okay, they won their way back to neutral with the Sonic franchise because they demonstrated that it was theoretically possible for non-completely unacceptable video game movies to exist. But that basically has gotten them back to neutral. It has not and me to have faith in them, because that could be a flash in the pan thing that just happened this one time because of freak occurrence of Sonic with teeth.
Ugh. Yeah. We've reached a point where you can safely look at a video game movie trailer and think, okay, I might want to watch that now.
Like you have the opportunity to weigh up whether it is worth watching or not, rather than immediately knowing that it's not.
Yes, U-Bowl is no longer on the scene, thankfully.
Yeah, I don't know how to parse this particular trailer, because the one joke that it really tells for the whole Bowser bit is the type of humor I could usually get behind, but something about it just feels off.
I don't know. It felt too Pixar to me. That was the one thing the vibe that I got from it. It was too Pixar. It wasn't Japanese enough.
I guess it's hard to describe, but I think the animation, particularly for Bowser, is just a bit too poppy, I guess you'd call it.
I don't think poppy is the right word.
He seems more flippant than he does menacing.
Yeah, like he's looking like he's leaning towards the Mario RPG Bowser rather than mainline Bowser, but I mean, that,
Well, I mean,
Jack
I
Black was going to
can't
do that.
imagine Bowser actually being the main villain in the story because he's too conventional a villain. Hollywood doesn't like villains like that anymore.
Where he's the bad guy for the sake of being the bad guy.
Yeah, like their whole obsession with what's his name, Thanos, was to try and make him like, oh well, he's actually just an eco warrior.
Yeah.
Except the part where he's
Like most
also-
of Hollywood would have sided with Thanos. That's the thing. They only made him lose because they had to.
Because he murdered half the universe.
Yeah, the reason Hollywood, the only reason for Hollywood to side with Thanos is because they can't guarantee that they would be the 50% that survived. If they could, they would have sided with Thanos in a heartbeat because all of them think that half the human race should be eliminated to save the planet. That's the sort of villain that Hollywood likes nowadays. That oh well, they've got a point, and the only reason that we're letting the good guys win is because that's what the audience wants, not because we actually think that the audience are good people. No, the audience are scum. The audience are dregs and paws that we don't want to associate with. So we have to make them as miserable as possible before we give them what they want.
we do things like drive taxis and process poop and sell pumps. All them dirty jobs.
Incidentally, that's the origins of humanity if you listen to Douglas Adams.
I mean, that's literally our jobs.
Also, yes. But, yeah.
The problem is that most of Hollywood hates the people that they're trying to entertain, which is how you get things like the Rings of Power, and it's how you get things like She-Hulk. Like, they exist because the people that are making them either, usually both, don't understand the people they're writing for and hate the people they're writing for.
I just love how even the target audiences of those shows are panning them mercilessly.
Well, look at the people that make them don't live on Earth. They live in this fantasy world called Hollywood.
Yeah, the
Where
target
everything
audience
works the
doesn't
way they
actually
want it to.
exist.
Yeah, they're writing to a theoretical person. Like if you look at the way that Peter Jackson portrayed Galadriel, which is, when it comes to elves, like Tolkien elves, Peter Jackson did as best he could. I mean, elves were still supposed to be sort of supernaturally beautiful and ethereal, and you can't really get to that using human actors, but he did his best. If you look at what Galadriel looks like via Peter Jackson's directing versus what you get in the Rings of Power, they're not the same thing at all. It's not just that the execution is different, but the target is different. The objective being headed for is different. One of them is trying to make Galadriel, the character, come to life. The other one is trying to make a girl boss that suits the idea of a female heroine.
Yeah.
Like, it's just the objective is different.
Yep.
And all of these sort of layered phenomena are the backdrop against which this trailer appears, and the sort of subtle not quite rightness about certain elements in it that make it seem like it's going to be sort of like a flippant post-ironic bullcrap version is like the scent of it is just wafting faintly in the background, and it remains to be seen whether that's because this trailer is concealing what the film will actually be like, or whether the trailer is actually demonstrating what the movie is like.
Yeah.
I also don't get a clear tone of movie from this trailer, which puts me a little off with it.
Yeah, it felt more like like the intro movie to a video game.
Yeah.
In the startup World of Warcraft, and they have the little vignette thing.
Yeah,
Like, is this going to be a serious story where Mario has to go on a real serious adventure? Is it going to be silly? Because the whole first half of the trailer with Bowser is just built up to one joke. Now,
Yeah.
it's a pretty good joke, and the delivery is pretty good, but it still doesn't give me a clear indication of what the heck this movie's supposed to be about.
Yeah, I'd be a lot more worried, but Miyamoto is still involved directly in it, so...
Well, he won't let them destroy the franchise, but there might be subtleties he as a non-Westerner is not sensitive.
Yeah. But, we shall
Stuff will-
see.
Yeah, I think it's worth keeping an eye on, just because
Yeah.
it could turn out good. It
Yeah,
could crash and burn.
I'm interested to see what happens to it, much in the way I was interested to see how Sonic the Hedgehog went.
I'll still go
But
sit down
I'm
and watch
certainly not gonna rush out and see Mario.
Yeah. Like, I'll watch it at some point. Like, it's not one of these movies.
You watched
like,
Monster Hunter after all.
I watched half of Monster Hunter.
You watched as much of Monster Hunter as you could.
I could not stomach any more. But, yeah, Monster Hunter, though, you've watched the trailer and you knew it was going to be bad. At least you watched the trailer for Mario, much like you watched the redone trailer for Sonic, not the original. And you can see that, yes, now it kind of sticks to the spirit of the original material now. Whether or not it's still going to be good or not, we'll have to wait and see. But, yeah, it's not an immediate write-off. Alright, I think we got maybe time for one quick article left, if you guys have anything you want to talk about.
Not really. I threw the rest of the stuff in there.
Alright.
Oh, get off PayPal.
I'm afraid.
Yeah, I threw that in there because I thought it was funny, but I don't really have anything to say on it. Get your crap off PayPal.
Already done that.
Like, delete your whole account. They are finding... I found a YouTube video for it. I'll try and find it again later. But they are charging people $2,500 for spreading, quote, misinformation on the internet. Arbitrarily, off-platform. No. They are now trying to say this was a whoopsie and it wasn't supposed to go out as a memo. Get your crap off PayPal.
Well, that means that somebody wrote it, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It means this was seriously considered to go out to the general public. So, get your crap off PayPal.
Yes. Alright. Other little things, like you got a whole bunch of Witcher content coming down the pipeline from CD Projekt Red.
Don't care.
A 4.0 version of No Man's Sky, because apparently they're up to 4.0 now.
The trailer looked pretty good.
Yep.
You and me should probably take a look at that once it drops.
It's already dropped, apparently. They tend to announce it and then drop it straight away.
You and me should take a look at that when we get some free time.
What is this Frey team of which you speak?
I'll also have to find, time to install 50 plus gigabytes.
It is a chonker of a game.
Yeah, so I'll put that in the vague future to-do list.
Yeah, we'll get to it eventually. And that's about it.
Yep. Alrighty.
Let's get out of here, shall we?
Let's start winding down. Closing comments, go.
I did not quite hit that level.
I have just run across Alpha just chilling in the hot springs in Kugane.
As you do.
As you do.
I'm trying to figure out where my freckles went.
You guys changed the lighting.
Yeah, I know. But they just completely disappeared right now?
Oh, they're over there. Also, who designed the Vanu quests? Because I hate you. Whoever you are, I hate you.
So, yeah. I posted my current character in the live show chat in the attempt to find my freckles, and they just, where'd the freckles go? They just are more completely gone than normal for some reason.
I see.
So, yeah. Email topic of the week. Let's see. Of all the things we covered... I don't know. Y'all can wing it. I got nothing for you this week.
Yeah. We're coming into the announcement season very soon. Like, we've got PAX Australia, I believe, going on this weekend as we speak, so...
We're in the smaller of the two announcement phases, the pre-holiday announcements.
I'm expecting there to be kind of a games announcement drought for the next couple of months, so...
We'll make do.
We'll make do.
There's enough stuff going on right now that I think we'll be able to weasel our way through it.
I mean, at worst case, we can talk about Space Daddy and his Twitter takeover again.
Oh boy.
Oh yeah, that's getting spicy again.
I'm not sure. The news is so spastic and inconsistent. I don't know what to make of it.
I think it's just changing so rapidly at this point that no one has any idea what's actually going on.
Yep. So we'll get a handle on that, and if there's any juicy meltdowns, we'll keep you appraised.
Mm-hmm.
I do love me some Twitter meltdowns. All right, folks. We'll see you next week. Sayonara. Bye bye.